Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio fan commentary on Casino Royale from 2006.
Yeah, not the 1967 Peter Sellers spoof.
The one directed by Martin Campbell and starring Daniel Craig as James Bond in his first film as the super spy. So I think it's fair to say that the producers knew that with the previous film, Die Another Day, cough. So they really needed to basically
find another way.
Yeah, of getting Bond out of the grave that it dug itself into, and unleash some new life in it. This is basically the best CPR for a movie franchise ever, along with like Rise of the Planet of the Apes. This is one of the best reboots. So good, and
I will have to agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I mean, after it was the 40th anniversary, this totally makes up for it. It's different, and also we have a new Bond. So, I mean, Brosnan was automatically ruled out of it for being too old, and he was very disappointed about that. Well, sorry, but yeah, Daniel Craig, who still remains our current James Bond for another 2 years until he will depart with his fifth and final movie, which is yet to be revealed. So, let's go back to the beginning where it all started. Casino Royale.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Yeah. Like the other commentaries, this is non-profit. We're just fans commentating on this, and unlike Die Another Day, we are actually fans of this film. And yeah, if you want to follow along with the movie, then put your DVD or Blu-ray in, put the timestamp to 0, and follow along. It's about 2.5 hours long, so it is quite a long ride. But I think it's an amazing film. This is also Jack's first time watching the movie in high definition Blu-ray.
Yes, yeah, I bought the Bond box set today. I got a job recently, and I bought it. I bought it at HMV. The recent Bond box set up to Spectre, a space reserved for Spectre. So now I have all the Bond films on Blu-ray.
Yeah, cool.
And the DVDs can die another day.
Are you going to sell the DVDs?
Yes, I think I will. Yeah.
I'd take them to CX because they're worth quite a lot actually. The Bond. They must be.
They are. Yeah, they are actually. Surprisingly enough, if you have the box set of all the Bonds, they do go for quite a bit of money, unlike some DVDs. But I mean, what's funny about this Casino Royale? Before we start, could you imagine if, let's take a Doctor Who reference here. Could you imagine if Brosnan regenerated Daniel Craig, and Daniel Craig said, "Oh, my last incarnation, I didn't like him. Had a sort of feckless charm, which simply wasn't me."
That is a line I can't imagine Daniel Craig saying for some reason.
Yeah, because I mean, well, compared to Colin Baker and Daniel Craig, I mean, they're worlds apart. I mean, Pierce Brosnan was the Colin Baker of the Bond franchise, and Daniel Craig, I guess you could say, is the David Tennant of the Bond franchise.
Well, to be fair, I think Daniel Craig was what the franchise needed. Not just him, but also the change in direction, change in tone.
I also think it needed the beef. It needed Daniel Craig's beef.
Yeah, they needed to beef it up. I think the series got lost in its campy schmampy tone. The Brosnan films just got more and more ridiculous. I mean, imagine if they made a fifth one, then to see it because
and I mean, we've seen interviews of Pierce Brosnan where he said, they let me go.
They closed the door on me.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, I'm sorry, Pierce. I mean, I respect him as an actor and all that, but I mean, I know that the scripts weren't great, but I mean, the guy was in his 50s, and I think if he did I think if he did another couple of Bond films, because he wanted to do 6 Bond films, I think if he did 2 more, he'd have been way too old. I mean, people criticize Roger Moore for being too old in his last film, so I think if we had 2 more of Brosnan, it just wouldn't have worked. And it was a reboot of the franchise. It was a reboot, and you needed a fresh face in there. You know, we needed a fresh face for James Bond. So, I think, with all respect to Brosnan, I think we needed Craig, and Craig delivered the goods. He delivered the beef.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, out of the 6, he's the most physically impressive of them. In terms of his body is amazing. I mean, I'm not gay, but
you'd fuck
the guy's
that.
in fucking. I would probably fancy Daniel Craig. I mean, he's quite a physically impressive man. So,
I mean, yeah, you'd ride that beef.
Yeah, I'd fucking casserole that beef. Anyway, let's get on with the film. So, you ready, Jack?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, play. They are the lions all in. No.
Yeah.
I'm actually really glad that they chose to start this new era.
Oh no, we're in the William Hartnell, Patrick Troughton era of the Bond franchise.
Because after, as I said, after the disaster of Brosnan's, this is really just to make the point, that we're going really serious.
Yeah, and I think you can also tell with this film that they had a lot more financial backers after the devastation that was Die Another Day. I mean, even though it made a lot of money, it just wasn't very good critically.
Yeah.
But I actually like that we don't start off this film with a gun barrel, because it's showing a new era of Bond. Like, he hasn't got his license to kill yet, or he's just started to get his license to kill. So to start with a gun barrel immediately.
Yeah, I think the decision to go back and basically start the story again with Casino Royale was brilliant, because you stripped...
Yeah, I mean, we needed to go back to Ian Fleming's source material. We needed to go back to what made Bond great in the original books and the original films.
7 Secrets. I love the way we see Craig in the corner of the dark room, proving to us, this is going to be a much darker Bond. He's a much more grittier Bond.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't get this scene in a Roger Moore movie.
Yeah, or a Pierce Brosnan movie. He would just be sniffing the guy once he killed him.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at this now, because I'm watching it with my PS4, my HDMI cable, it looks great on Blu-ray. I have to say the picture definition is really sharp. I just have to say this looks great in HD. Like, the picture definition is so clear.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And this opening's great, I think. Like, where he's like, I know where you keep your gun. Like,
I like that we see this scene where he gets his 00 status. In Dr. No, all we saw was Bond was already established, so it was just him setting off on his adventures. So this is basically Bond Begins in that sense.
Bond Begins. He's like, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
No, this scene though is really brutal as well. I mean, he drowns this guy in a fucking sink. I'm gonna be honest. You wouldn't even see Sean Connery doing that. You wouldn't even see Sean Connery drowning a guy in the sink.
Yeah, that's why I think Craig is the best Bond, because he's the most real. He's the most human, and he gets bruised, he gets beaten up, he gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean, before this, with like the Pierce Brosnan movies and even the Sean Connery and some of the Roger Moore films, Bond was just a superhero. There was never a scratch on him. He never sweated.
I mean, they did try and break away from that in the Dalton films, but they never really got a chance to do it much because there was only 2 films. But with Craig, yeah. This film is really dark.
Yeah, the second is he just shoots him before he finishes his speech.
Considerably. I love the way the gun barrel comes in. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have to say, that's probably one of the best gun barrels. I mean, it's short, you know, there's no but you know, just the way he turns around is amazing.
I
I
love
mean,
this title sequence and the song.
yeah,
I mean, R.I.P. Chris Cornell.
yeah. Sadly, he died. He committed suicide recently. I think he hanged himself.
Yeah,
Um,
I really
but
like.
I will always. Sorry, go ahead.
I just love this imagery. It's amazing. And I think the song works really well. It's definitely
Yeah.
different. It's more like rock, like hard rock. But I think it works for Casino Royale.
Yeah, I have to say I prefer this title sequence much more to the other ones that Daniel Kleinman did. I mean, the GoldenEye one, but especially the Tomorrow Never Dies one and World's Not Enough one, there was just way too much CGI, and it was just so weird. Like the woman made out of oil and the cybernetic women, just like what?
This was his most impressive one at that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really great looking. Like, and yeah, the song's great, and they will replace you. Can't deny the powers that will never fulfill
I mean,
you.
it's not the best Bond song, but it is up there. It's in my top 10.
I would say, yeah, in my top 10 or top 15, yeah. I mean, one thing I will say is, uh, I love that scene in the title sequence. We just passed it where the guy falls and he shatters into a deck of cards.
I
And
also like that we see Vesper as well.
yeah, that's sort of really cool, like hinting it's um to the film. And yeah, all the cards and all that, and the king and the jacks, like you
And
know, I mean, it fits in. It fits in with the gambling element of Casino Royale.
yeah, and see Stewart. That's great. See, this is why he should be an editor, not the director.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
did Stuart Baird? Did
yeah.
Stuart Baird? Yeah, I mean, I think he learned after Star Trek Nemesis that he couldn't direct films. I mean, that's the thing. Stuart Baird was always an editor. He was an editor for Star Trek Insurrection and Star Trek First Contact, and then they made him into a director. You know, he just should stick to editing. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that, the 007.
yeah, on the card. Yeah,
Ready to die.
straight away. Straight away with the opening and the title sequence. You know, you could tell this is back to basics. You
Yeah,
know, this is
Bond is back,
yeah.
after a 4-year hiatus.
Yeah, I love this bit where Daniel Craig walks towards the camera and his face is covered up, and then you see his face.
Yeah.
No man, man. No, just the way you see his face, and then it cuts like and the black covers his face again. It's just like the way he walks up to the camera. It's like him saying, "I am James Bond. This is James Bond, right here."
Yeah. I mean, they work so hard on this film to make it work, and you know what? It really shows the dedication.
Yeah. I mean, Martin Campbell, I think he redeemed himself after GoldenEye. I mean, GoldenEye, I used to hate it. I mean, I think it's average at best, but it's just such a weird film. Like, and my problem with GoldenEye was that after the two, like, you know, revolutionary Dalton films where they went back to the Bond books, they just tried to make it more like the Roger Moore, Sean Connery films with GoldenEye.
I think that's also because people didn't really get on board with Dalton, and
Yeah.
we weren't ready at that time for that dark Bond film.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, I think it worked well in Living Daylights, but I think License to Kill went way too dark, and because of that, it didn't do as well as the box office. I mean, it still made its money back, but it just didn't make that much money compared to the others in the series. I mean, License to Kill was the least grossing film.
Lowest grossing, isn't it? Still the lowest grossing Bond movie.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, up to that point. I still think it is, and and it was because it was too violent, but also because you had other really good films that year. I mean, you had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade the same year, and you had a few other films. But I mean, I think the main reason why is because people weren't ready for that. And I've seen like stuff on YouTube, like premiere of GoldenEye, and people were talking about Pierce Brosnan, and they're like, "Oh, at least he's way better than Dalton," because people weren't ready for Dalton at that time. They weren't ready for a more darker interpretation.
I think since Daniel Craig, people now appreciate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think Living Daylight. I think the reason why the Dalton era didn't work, well, especially the second half with License to Kill. I think the reason why it didn't work was because, I mean, people had gotten used to the campy, sort of more fun tone of the Roger Moore era. People were more used to the fun tone of that era, and I think with Living Daylights they accepted it, but then License to Kill, it just went on way too. It just became way too dark. Like I said, it became like Scarface. It became like a gangster film. It was all about drugs. There was very.
It was more like as Alan said, it was more like Miami Vice than James.
Yeah.
Bond. I mean,
it was more like Miami Vice or Scarface. Like you had a drug dealer, Sanchez.
I mean, that first scene that we just passed. This era, Lachief and Mr. White, very interesting characters.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mads Mikkelsen, yeah, I think he's really great as Lachief. I mean, Lachief was in the original book, and Lachief isn't like, he's not a shouty villain. He's not over the top. He's not like over the top and silly like Gustav Graves. You know. I mean, I also like this scene.
I think quite mentally, him and Bond have like a real mental game. I think that's really interesting the way they display that.
Yeah.
This thing is great when we go into the chase, but Carter's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he is. I mean, put your hands down. I mean, it's funny. This level in the game is actually in the Quantum of Solace game. This level is actually really fun. But what's funny is I've actually outrun. What's funny is you can actually kill the bomber in the game. Like, I've shot the bomber and he dies, and you have to restart the mission in the Quantum of Solace game, which is really funny. But I mean, I think Lachief is a really great character. Like, he's not over the top, like I said, like Gustav Graves. He's more subtle. And this action scene is amazing. I love this action scene.
I have to say that the elements for rerunning works so well. I mean, how energetic it is. Everything about this sequence is perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Bond uses the digger to get through on the construction site.
I mean, what's so cool about this is it's the first Bond film to introduce parkour, like free running, and it works really well. Free running and parkour works really great for a Bond film. I mean, when he uses
score by David Arnold is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, this digger scene, when you see Craig in a digger, he's just a bad arse, just complete and utter, I mean, right away, this Bond. I mean, what's great about this film is right away, this Bond is pulling no punches. He's not going to take any shit. He's not going to crack campy or stupid one-liners.
No.
I mean, some people might say, like, I remember, like, this guy ages ago in our Brosnan era reflection. Like, I remember this guy saying to me, like, you accuse the Brosnan era of being over the top and silly, but you praise the Moore era. I mean, I just want to get one thing straight. There's good silly and there's bad silly. I mean, like my friend Alan has said, Moonraker is good silly. I mean, it's a cartoon, but it knows it's a cartoon. It's over the top, but it knows that, and it has fun with it. Same with some of the other Roger Moore Bond films. They're over the top, but I mean, it's like Spy Love Me in some ways is over the top, but it knows that and it runs with it. Like, the problem with the Brosnan films is, like with GoldenEye, is that especially though with like Tomorrow Never Dies and things like that, the problem that they have is that they try to be campy, but they also try to be serious as well. Like, you have that scene in the world. You have that scene.
What works? I mean, with Daniel Craig, like I'm glad that his era is not devoid of humor.
Yeah.
Humor is dry and witty, and that's what works about it. I mean, all four of his movies has so dry, but they work with his character.
Yeah, I mean, But yeah, this crane scene I just love. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's so much fun to play in the video game as well.
And also, it's real. There's no green screen. This is why I love Bond, because they do it for real. They take risks.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, that's what's great about the Bond films, is that they do the stunts for real, and that was a problem with Die Another Day. That's why Die Another Day sucked. All the stunts in that
CGI rubber fest.
Yeah, like all the stunts of that, or the majority of the stunts, were all CGI. You know, Brosnan. I mean, you had Brosnan windsurfing in the last film, and this film you have Bond chasing a guy up a fucking crane. You know, it's, like, I mean, there's a big difference. I mean, could you imagine Craig windsurfing?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I think also, I mean, because a lot of the same crew probably would have worked on both films. I would imagine that Die Another Day stuff dramatically under the direction of Lee Tamahori, whereas Mustang was directed perfectly here.
Yeah, I think he realizes that we needed a new Bond for a new era, and I mean, actually, talking about this film, I remember watching this film for my 12th birthday. Like, I remember I invited all my friends around, and we watched Casino Royale together on DVD, and I remember like, we were having chocolate cake and eating chocolate eclairs and stuff. But it was really fun to watch this film with all my friends, and they loved it. They all really enjoyed it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, this film as well. Like, some people say, like, Casino Royale took a page out of Jason Bourne. I would say maybe to like a certain extent in terms of the stunts, but it's still James Bond. It's still Bond. Yeah.
But I think the action needed to feel like that. You know,
yeah, it needed to be gritty.
It's the most like modern movie at the time. You know, it was updating the formula of the century. Whereas trying to go back to what Roger Moore was doing in the 1990s, that doesn't work. You know.
I just love the way Craig just crashes through the wall. Like, he doesn't, you know.
It doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, one thing as well is, like, I mean, this film is 11 years old this year. I mean, last year was its 10th anniversary. And, you know, I mean, it's 11 years old, but it still holds up really well. Like, it hasn't dated at all. Unlike Die Another Day, which is dated horribly. Like,
I mean, I love this scene. I mean, it is quite a long action scene, but
it works, so I mean, it keeps you engaged, which is fantastic. What's also great about this Bond film is that it deals with modern day issues. Like, this film came out 5 years after 9/11, so it's dealing with modern issues like terrorism. Like, we wouldn't have had that, you know, with Die Another Day, you know, because that came out a year after 9/11, and that was so recent.
Also, like,
I mean,
when you said about terrorism, sorry to interrupt, it's cyber terrorism. We live in an age now, and everything's like all online.
Yeah.
And I think Bond, I mean, this film makes use of that. The Craig era definitely deals with cyber technology, especially in Spectre when they have the global surveillance.
Yeah. What's great about Casino Royale in comparison to GoldenEye is, like, Casino Royale updates the story dealing with terrorism and, you know, new sort of forms of war. My problem with GoldenEye was, although it was about the end of the Cold War, the Russians were still the bad guys. The Russians were still bad, and it felt like they weren't really. I mean, they were trying to make a point in GoldenEye that it was the end of the Cold War, but the Russians were still the main enemies. They were still the main bad guys. So in that sense, it didn't feel like Bond was progressing with the times. If you get what I mean.
Yeah. But I think this movie has a strong message of trust. You know, Bond doesn't trust anyone. And he learns that through the experience of this movie.
Yeah.
And then, you know, that's also a statement to us as well. Like, we can trust everyone that we feel, everything we read, you know. And that continues throughout his era. As we see the four movies, kind of obviously, because now the Craig ones are connected. Seeing how this one leads into the next one, and then that into Spectre, it all kind of comes together. And I think it's fantastic the way this film tells the story. It updates the story for the 21st century because the book was written months ago. I mean, they had trouble getting the rights to to this for a while, I believe. But then they finally got it, and they made it.
Yeah.
And I think it couldn't have been any better.
Yeah. I mean, that scene is just brutal when he's like, listen to me, and he just pushes the guy in front of him, and then he shoots it.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that they kept was Judi Dench, which I'm glad. I'm glad they kept Judi Dench as M. That was one thing that had to remain.
Yeah.
You know.
The only one thing I will say is that that's still apparent from GoldenEye. I mean, it sounds weird, but like the close-ups of the guys after the explosion, that's the only thing that kind of reminds me of his direction from GoldenEye. Apart from that, it's almost like a completely different director with Casino Royale. Like, it feels like, I mean, that's what I like about it. It's like, I think Martin Campbell really progresses as a director with this film. Like GoldenEye, and if you compare GoldenEye to Casino Royale, he's really progressed.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, what's great about this film is that it deals with current events. Like you said, yeah, the book was written like 50 or 60 years ago, and but 60 years ago when and times have moved on, which is, it's great that they've done this.
Yeah. I mean, I also like I think the storytelling as well is so good. The script is very strong. And it wowed Daniel Craig when he read it. He obviously thought, wow, this is going to be a great Bond movie because it's a clean slate. They pretty much, everything you know from the previous 20 movies, they've wiped. Other than a few things like, I mean, the essential formula is the same, but, you have Bond and M. But it's a different take.
It's like what you said, they've unclogged the toilet, they've sprayed the air freshener, it's a steady, it's a steady flush,
It's aesthetically, it's more pleasing,
Yeah, what they've done, I mean, I would even go further. I would say what they've done is they ripped out the old toilet and put a new one in.
But they didn't get a refund for the old one. Everyone paid the money.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've ripped out the toilet, they've put in a new one, and they've actually replaced the whole room. Even the bathroom's different,
I mean, even Roger Moore thought Die Another Day went way too far. Brosnan must have known the reaction it got. I mean, obviously, he got paid a huge amount for it, so he thought, oh, fuck it, great. But clearly, there was a lot that needed to be fixed. And I think the producers were aware of that. I think Tamahori had too much creative control.
I mean, to be honest, he was a whore. I mean, the same year that this film came out, he was caught sucking off a policeman's dick in drag. So, like, oh, dear Lord. Like,
Yeah, I don't get him. But also what helps is Daniel Craig himself having as much creative involvement as the others, as the other producers.
Yeah.
He really wanted to have his say, and I think when an actor has that much input to a character, it really pays off.
Yeah.
Well, all movies.
What was I going to say here? I mean, Judi Dench, I think, was good in the Brosnan movies, but I think she's even better in the Daniel Craig Bond films. I mean, she just has a much better relationship with Daniel Craig. She's more of a mother figure to him, like we said before.
And the way you see that relationship develop into Skyfall, I think is incredible. I mean, obviously, he has a cameo in Spectre, which is great.
I mean, you see how arrogant Bond is because he's just been given 00 and he's already in her apartment, hacking into her computer. I mean, what's really good about Casino Royale is you see how arrogant Bond is as a character. He's just got his he's just got his 007 license, and he doesn't give a fuck. He's just reckless. He shoots up, blows up an embassy, and then he's in her. He blows up an embassy, and then he's in her room, hacking her laptop, in her apartment.
Yeah, it's funny. Having seen Spectre, I do question a lot of things in this movie, like how much when M finally got that it was Spectre behind all this, and maybe Blofeld the whole time. Maybe when Bond got double, that's when Blofeld was able to track him down and find out what he was doing. when Bond was promoted to 00 status. He must have hacked into MI6 or something.
Yeah, or he probably read the articles about him blowing up that embassy and said, "Ah, I can leave a trail of breadcrumbs for him."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just kept following him and obviously laying traps for him.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say about Spectre, I mean, some people complain about it, but one thing I really loved about Spectre was that it tied all the Daniel Craig Bond films together. It felt like a complete story arc, like all the previous Bond films. You know, they were basically a trail of breadcrumbs leading to Spectre. Because in this film we have Quantum, you know,
which basically is Spectre. Yeah.
yeah, and I remember you and me when we were doing our hangouts for the Spectre teaser trailers and the trailers that came out. I remember saying to you like maybe Quantum because Judi Dench says, "Oh, no one's ever heard of Quantum." Like I was saying to you like maybe Quantum is a code name for Spectre. Maybe maybe that Quantum is the code name for Spectre, and then it turns out we were right. Like it was a trail of breadcrumbs. We were right, and some people might be disappointed by that, but that made it better for me. Like that made it better for me. Like, and that's what I loved about it.
It was more personal. I agree. I love that. The fact that we now know that whatever happens in this movie, Blofeld is watching Bond. He's following his every move. And, Lashif, Green, Silver, they were all working for Blofeld. And that's a great revelation to find that out.
Yeah. One thing I will say as well is what I really like about this Bond film is that, basically, I mean, actually, one thing I will say is Daniel Craig, I really admire him as a guy, like as an actor. I have to really admire him because, I mean, the guy was homeless for a while and, he struggled with a lot of roles. Like he struggled to, he struggled to get into the mainstream. I mean, he was in Our Friends in the North with Christopher Eccleston, and he was in a film, like a First World War film called The Trench. And, it was with his great performance in Layer Cake that got him the role. I mean, and what I admire about him is that he didn't accept it blindly. He said, "Oh, I'll have to read the script first," because he was doubtful, and that's what I admire about him. That's what I admire about him is that he was concerned about the direction of the series, and he didn't take it straight away. He realized that if you're going to bring Bond back, you have to make it back to basics.
Also, I liked M's line. The line he said. I thought M was the randomly signed letter. I had no idea. Imagine if he said Muffy on the end of that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been funny. I mean, or it would have been interesting, like because we actually find out what that M in her name stands for later. It's Emma. Like.
Emma. Oh yeah, Emma.
Yeah.
I love music by Chris Cornell, and I love the location of the Bahamas. Like, I mean.
Yeah, I mean this may sound weird, but the Bahamas setting. It's kind of like they're referencing Doctor No. I mean, I guess you could say this film is sort of the Doctor No of the reboot series. I mean, it's definitely
almost you could say a prequel in one sense.
I think
I know that obviously the next 3 movies come after this, but you could say because it's an origin story, it could come before Doctor No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's a prequel, but I think the Bahamas, the Bahamas reference, and then we have Craig coming out of the sea later. Like it's a reference to Doctor No. I mean, I agree with you. Like a lot of people say this is a reboot, but I kind of see this as a prequel as well because this is just Bond getting his 007 license.
I love this when he drives the car around and then he just deliberately jams it right to the back and sets the alarm off. See, it's little moments like that make him funny.
And you can just see how arrogant he is. I mean, like, he blew up the embassy. He hacked into, he got into M's apartment. And now he's like trashing this guy's car. He just throws the keys away. I love that. Like,
he doesn't give a fuck.
Shit. Yeah.
And that just proves, he's a well-rounded character. He's not just a thug.
I mean, a lot of people, though. I mean, I guess we should talk about the sort of backlash Craig was getting when he was first cast. A lot of people were complaining that he was James Blonde and that he was too short and he was too ugly. But I mean, he proved himself in the role. He really proved himself. Like all the naysayers, after this film, and I think definitely after Skyfall, realized just how great he was as James Bond.
I think Skyfall made people appreciate it more because Skyfall felt like a classic Bond movie and a modern Bond movie, and I think the same with Spectre as well.
I mean, Spectre, in my opinion, that's the best Bond film. I mean, I know it's the most recent, but I mean, just the hype that you and me had for it, and then when I watched it, I loved it. I just loved all the references to the past Bond films, and that film really felt like a classic Bond film. It had the right mix of humor and everything. I mean, I think Skyfall really was when the series sort of like. I think with the return of the DB5 and all that, I think Skyfall was really the film that tied all the films back into the Bond series.
Skyfall brought the series back to where it was, but in a different way. So like it was in a good place with like Roger Moore, with Connery Moore and Dalton. Skyfall went back to that, but also it didn't forget it was a Daniel Craig movie, and I think that's what people loved about it. And of course it was the 50th anniversary, and I liked that it was different as well because we saw Bond's childhood. It's the only movie of the series, as well as Spectre. Those two movies are the only ones that go back to Bond's childhood, which I think is very, very interesting. And I love it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And what I will say about Daniel Craig is like, yes, there were a lot of doubts about him because he was short. He isn't the most particularly handsome looking guy, and he was blonde, but he really proved himself. I mean, he bulked up for the role, and even my mum said, like, you know, he's not the most attractive looking guy, but you know he's in the room. He's sort of got a macho kind of presence to him. Like, you know he like my mum said when we were watching Spectre, like he's not the best looking, but he you know he's in the room, and that's kind of like what like a lot of women like really like about Daniel Craig is that, you know, he's got that charm about him. He's got that charisma. Yeah. He's got the charisma of Bond. You know,
I like the scene that he has with the receptionist. she's clearly, you know, charmed by him. He approaches her and he's like, you know, if I felt compelled to find him, you know.
Yeah.
And obviously now we're introduced to Solange, who's the wife of Demetrios.
Yeah. I mean, I find it weird. Oh, here we go. The Doctor No reference.
Yeah. They said that it happened by accident. They never wrote it in the script, but because Daniel Craig couldn't swim, like he couldn't swim very well, and they just came up on the day with that shot. They just thought, well, okay, let's just do that.
Oh, what was I gonna say though? Like like, you know, you could. I mean, it's kind of different because she sees him from the beach. I mean, could you imagine if she was like Bond came out and said, "Underneath the mango tree," like
underneath the mango tree.
I mean, Dalton's come out of the water, but in something else.
Lol.
I mean, I also like the fact that Bond's like stolen her like
holiday plans.
Yeah, I like the fact that Bond's like stolen her laptop as well, or something like that. Like,
how the hell does he know these things?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I'll say about Casino Royale, obviously, the absence of Q and Moneypenny is missed, which is fine. I'm okay with them not being in this movie. But the secretary guy that they have to basically be the Moneypenny replacement, he's fucking useless. He's I just don't like him. I think the actor's so bland, so terrible.
I mean, I know I gave my review of this an 8 out of 10, but I mean, one of the things is, I mean, I know you don't mind it, and I know why they got rid of Q and Moneypenny, because he wanted to get it back to basics. But I mean, I kind of miss them. But I mean, it's not a major thing. It's not like going to ruin my enjoyment of the movie. I mean, I still really like Casino Royale. I still think it's really great. But I mean, I just don't love it as much as you and Alan. I know you and Alan rank it both as your second favorite Bond film, and that's great. I mean, what I will say is I really admire it. It's a great reboot to the series. I really do admire it. But I think there are a couple of elements for me that don't make it a perfect 10 out of 10. Just the love story. I mean, even though I really like Eva Green as Vesper Lynd, the love story I don't really care that much for. And also I just kind of miss Q and Moneypenny. But those are just two, I mean, they're not major problems. It doesn't destroy the movie. I still think the movie's great. Like, it's still a great reboot after.
Too long? Do you find the film too long?
I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I think it is a tad bit too long. Like, I think you could have cut out like maybe 15 or 20 minutes. I think it does go on a bit, but
that's an important scene, because when she comes over and kisses him, That's
I,
mirrored later on when Vesper does the same thing with Bond in the
I
casino.
have to say, she looks really fucking sexy in that dress.
Smoking. I mean, this is great. Like this is this is the first poker scene with Daniel Craig in the Bond movie.
Can you imagine they start playing Cherry Blind, Poker Face?
Smoking. I mean,
Bond.
this is great. I mean, because poker is a game that I've never really understood, but it's a game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to. You can't. There's no strategy. You need luck. You basically need to be really lucky to win it.
Oh well, no, I think there is strategy as well, but I mean, you do have to have a strategy. Like, I mean, the whole thing about a poker face, like, you can't show your hand, you can't reveal your hand, and you need to have the certain amount of cards. But
Well,
I mean,
maybe he could show him his little finger.
I mean, one thing, I mean, I agree with you. What I love about this film is that it actually makes the poker scenes interesting. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know about poker either, but it makes it interesting. Like, I mean, I don't understand
Those
poker
scenes,
either.
those scenes could have make or broke the movie. They could have either been great, or they could have sunk the movie into a sluggish pace. But thankfully,
Yeah, I mean, it could have been boring, but it's not. I think what makes the poker scenes, I think what makes the poker scenes really good is you see the reactions of the villains. It's not just them playing poker. You see the reaction of Bond. You see the villains getting either pissed off or like saying something like, "I hope our little game isn't causing you to perspire." He's like, He's like, "I'll only consider myself in trouble when I'm weeping blood."
blood. See, Craig's one-liners, they're dry, they're witty. I mean, I'm sorry, that last hand nearly killed me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what makes the scenes more interesting. If you just had them playing poker and you didn't have Bond or anybody making any comments, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the quips that they made. I mean, they didn't want to go too far with the humor in this one, which is fine. I think they loosened Craig up a bit in Skyfall and Spectre,
Yeah.
which I'm glad because they brought Bond back to where it was before.
Yeah.
And I think Craig was able to take Bond in that direction with his performance. In this,
Yeah.
in the first two movies that he has, he's more emotional, and in this one, he's an arrogant prick. But
Yeah.
then
I also love the fact that they brought back the DB5, but it's not Bond's car; it's somebody else's car. Like,
yeah. But
it's just a nice
there was more of
reference.
an impact though in Skyfall. I think there was more of an impact of it in Skyfall
Yeah.
because that was the 50th anniversary.
What else is great about this film is that there's hardly any product placement. A problem with Die Another Day, especially the marketing of that film, was there was so much product placement. Like, it's on YouTube. There's like Gillette razor adverts for Die Another Day. There's like 7-Up adverts for Die Another Day. Watch adverts for Die Another Day. There's just so many adverts.
I mean, the only product placement in this movie is the Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And the DB5. That's it. Yeah.
That's it. I mean, the cars. You don't really count the cars anyway because they're always there.
I love this scene though. It's just so funny. It's like, I'll take you in my place, and he just drives around the roundabout. Like, I mean, that's what I like. It shows that Craig's Bond has a sense of humor as well. He's not just a completely cold-hearted.
He's a charmer, I mean, in this one especially because he's an arrogant prick, and he has to learn his lesson. But,
I think all the villains in this are good. Even Demetrios, like even for the few scenes he's in, I think he's good as well.
Yeah, because he's a slime ball. He's working. I like that this is like a chain of villains. Like obviously Blofeld being at the very top of the hierarchy, then falling to Lashif, and then it's like he's got all these little minions who have minions. If that makes sense.
Yeah, what's great about this is he's hiding Spectre in the dark. He's calling it Quantum. He's hiding it away from Bond because if Bond knew it was Spectre, then he would know it was Blofeld, and he could suss them out straight away. If he doesn't know that it's Spectre, that makes it better.
I think Blofeld wanted to play mind games with him. He's like he wanted to just hurt him for as much as he could to cause him so much tragedy, and then to bring him to the lair to reveal like surprise, it was me all along, to mess with his head.
Yeah, I have to say this scene is quite saucy, but in a good way. It's not like Die Another Day where like like there's all that heavy panting and it's in the dark, and Halle Berry's just like, "Who says I'm good?" And like she cuts a pear. Like,
Good. Oh my god. I mean, I have to say, I imagine that this might be quite a difficult scene to watch for Craig, and his family.
yeah, I loved it. Alan's Bond Viking. He's like, Lee Tamahori wanted to give James Bond his greatest lay, so here's a reenactment of that scene. Yeah.
And then he gets
I
the
needed.
banana. Who says I'm good?
Yeah, like he's just like, oh, I needed the touch of a good woman. Like,
Damn, Craig, look at the pecs.
oh, she's kissing his abdomen. I have to say, Demetrios has a really fit wife.
Yeah, you said about his abdomen. Well, it is an abdomen worth kissing.
I mean, unlike Connery and Brosnan, it's just gorilla hair.
Planet of the Apes.
Could you imagine her kissing the stomach of Colin Baker? It'd just be fat. It'd just be so fat.
No, don't kiss me there. Go for the crackhead knob.
God. Could you imagine as Colin Baker as the next Doctor? Dear Lord.
God, I think she's one of the sexiest Bond girls. She's probably going to be the sexiest Bond girl since Barbara Bach.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just love that dress she's wearing. Like, just reveals a lot, and it's just really sexy.
Wow.
Yes, what a stunner.
I love this. Like, gonna get the blue camera for two. No, for one. Yeah. So basically, just gets all the information he needs and then fucks off.
Yeah. I mean, you think he'd fuck her though before he left, but you're just playing around, kissing each other.
Well, to be fair, he probably does. He probably has a quick 5-minute fuck, and then he goes like with Monica Bellucci.
I love that. By the way, I love that cut where he's driving the DB5, and then it cuts to the taxi driving on the road. It's a great way to like transition.
Yeah. It's surprising that he ends up taking a taxi.
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about this as well is that there's no stupid one-liners every 2 minutes. Like Die Another Day. There's no like
Saved
really,
by the bell.
Oh, I've been known to keep my tip up. Like Jesus, like.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the chief saying something like, "Oh, Mr. Bond, ooh."
I'm breathless.
Yeah.
Inhaler, I like this scene. This is really cool. When they end up getting into...
I have to say, this museum is weird though. Like you have these like human skeletons playing poker. Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all very symbolic, isn't it? But I like the scene. It's tense the way that.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Yeah.
The way both of them have the hand on the knife, and then they're both, and Bond, distracts him and ends up killing him.
Yeah.
It shows how cold the guy is. I mean, even before the end of this movie, he's still the cold killer. But I think the end of the movie cements him to who he really is as James Bond.
Yeah. Yeah. This scene's really tense. Like, he has a knife against him, and he's like, "Yeah, go." Yeah, I just love the way he actually like Bond like makes him stab himself, and then he puts him like makes him look like an exhibition. Like he sits him down and makes him look like an exhibition. Like,
yeah, it's actually, if you think about it, the way he sits him down, it's kind of a reference to Thunderball. But when Connery says, "Oh, mind if she shuts this one out? She's just dead."
oh right, yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah. I mean, that's one of the only really good scenes in Thunderball. I mean, I know Alan's gonna probably be like jumping up and down because we don't like it, but
No,
sorry.
Right, he doesn't like View to a Kill. We like it. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
And he doesn't like Quantum of Solace either. So.
Well, not a lot of people like Quantum of Solace.
Well, no, there are quite a few people that actually do though, because like it's got a 6.
He likes it as much as you, but I mean, I like it. I think.
Well, no, actually, if you check, you can check online. If you check with the Rotten Tomatoes score, it's got a 68% on Rotten Tomatoes. So not everybody hates it.
I mean, this is actually really quite a long scene. This Miami airport section.
Yeah, I mean that is one of my only problems. Like I said in the film, is I just think some sections of the movie are too long. Like the finale, like with Bond and Vesper, even though it's a nice, like even though like them in bed and them in love.
Brad.
Yeah, they've made their bed.
Well, I mean, that security guard, he loves his job.
They've made their bed. No, I mean that's one of my only criticisms of the film, and I kind of agree with the director of Quantum of Solace. I mean, even though you could say Quantum of Solace is too short, that's one thing as I will agree with him is I just think it was too long. Just in certain scenes, like this scene, even though it's a really great scene, I just think it goes on a bit too long. But
it's ironic, at the time, before Spectre, this was the longest Bond movie, and then it was followed by the shortest Bond movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Spectre, yeah, no, he holds the record. I mean, before that, the longest was on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, and I mean that was too long. I think that was too long. That did
On Her
drag
Majesty's.
in the middle.
Yeah, I think all the stuff with Hilly at the yeah, Sir Hilary Bray at the
Like when he's fornicating with all the girls, it's you don't need that. If you've got the love streak, you don't need that.
It's just stupid as well because lazy B.
Lazy B.
Yeah, I mean like I mean the problem with that in on a Majesty Secret Service is Lazenby is dubbed over, and it's just like the fact that he's dubbed over and he's wearing this kind of stupid outfit, like that scene where the girl like writes the number, like writes her number of the, like that scene where like the girl at dinner like writes the number of her room on the inside of his leg in his kilt. It's like, oh, what is it, Mr. Bond? Or just a slight stiffness coming on, like
yeah.
like you didn't need that,
Going back to Casino Royale, I like the plot. The plot for me is one of the best plots of the series. The fact that Lachief is like a terrorist banker and he's in severe debt and he has to pay off his debts because of what happens with this Sky Fleet.
Yeah, I mean that is what's really good about the plot is that it is a modern plot. I mean, one thing I will say, one thing I will say about Casino Royale, and maybe this is why it's not my top 10, is I think it's a bit too modern. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but there's certain parts I just think it's a bit too modern. But that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think it needed to be though. After Die Another Day, it's like Campy Land. Ooh.
Yeah, and I mean, this kicks the shit out of Die Another Day. I mean, Die Another Day is a 0 out of 10. This is 8 out of 10 for me, and a 10 out of.
He shoved a gun down his cock.
Yeah, he's got his cockery.
This is a great action scene. I love it. I mean, personally, I don't mind this being a little bit long. I think the pace is great. I mean, we're already 46 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, Ollie. The terrorist puts his gun in his cock, and Daniel Craig as Bond gets all wet.
Nah! Oh, you wait till we get to the torture scene, then we'll see who's wet.
Oh, Vesper getting tortured is getting turned on. To the right, to the right. To the right.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean,
plane
thing. Yeah, I mean, this whole Skyfleet thing, it's like mirroring 9/11. Like, it's terrorism, I mean, we have fucking terrorist organizations now, like ISIS and Al Qaeda. All these fucking mad people. Who are leaving all these bombs. Like, I mean, if you think about it in terms of Bond, I mean, he's a British character. If you think about recently, like the Manchester bombing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. That was a horrible incident.
Yeah, I mean, awful. But I mean, if you think of Bond as an English character, the Manchester bombing and like the Westminster bridge attacks, I mean, it's still relevant. 11 years later.
Yeah, I mean, these things are still happening today. I mean, if you remember the London bombings of 2007, that was only a year after the movie.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's even more relevant because it was only a year after this film came out. like terrorism, it's still a thing. It's still as strong as ever, unfortunately, and a lot of people die from it. And there are these nameless, faceless people. Interesting about it, I mean, there was one guy, I think he was reviewing Bloodstone, and what he didn't like about it was that Bond was fighting nameless, faceless thugs. Oh yeah, James Bond fights over the top villains. If you want someone to fight Colin MacGyver, but they needed to, update, Bond for the 21st century. Somebody in a volcano lair with a scar down his face, after dying another day. By the way, this action, I really love this action scene. I mean, this may sound weird, but I mean, Ollie's not here at the moment, but like, this may sound weird where Bond's in the truck. Kind of reminds me of the one at the end of the first Terminator where Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese are being chased by when the Terminator's on top of the truck shooting at the T-1000 in that film. But I mean, I think some people, like, their problem with the Bond films is they're too modern and like the stunts, like they say, it's like Jason Bourne. But I mean, I would, like I said, they've updated it for a new, for the new. It's still James Bond. The character's still James Bond. He's still got his dry quips. He's still got his humor. And he's still got his license, even though the action may be a bit more gritty and a bit more boring. James Bond, it's still the same character.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was just saying this action scene with whether Ollie, I was just saying this action scene with the fighting. To be the action scene at the end of Terminator 2, where the Terminator jumps on the truck, shooting at the T-1000. Kind of reminds me.
Yeah. What part are you on?
The truck chase. Are you on that?
Yeah. Yeah, when he's in.
It's I have to say the action is just amazing. Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, with 50 minutes. See, that's gone quickly.
I have to say this is a great Bond film to start off. To start off my viewing. This is a great Bond film to do commentary of Bond.
Yeah. I mean,
that car there being thrown in the air by the plane, that's the only one bit of CGI that they use in this film. That's it.
Yeah.
And the house collapsing at the end. That's the only CGI they use in the film.
Yeah. But I mean, there's 2 shots of CGI. What
do you think of this action scene?
I mean, like, you see Craig, you see the blood, you see the pain, you feel it. I mean, as Mark Commode says, you go, ooh! Like, you can feel when Bond gets hurt.
Yeah. No, action scene. Would you say it's one of your favourite action scenes, like in a Bond film?
It's a very good action scene. It is quite long. I don't know. I think it works pretty well.
Yeah, I he attaches the bomb to the guy's back, and he doesn't realize Bond's getting arrested at the end. He blows up.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been stupid if the guy blew up and Bond said something like, "Oh, he blew a fuse" or something like that.
Yeah. Like the Sky Fleet.
Yeah, it would have been stupid if the guy blew up and bombs away, or let the Sky Fleet.
The practical effects are incredible. I mean, a lot of smashing and crashing of the cars and everything. I mean, wow. That was intense.
What bit are you on now?
Literally when he's just stopped the truck.
Oh, he's getting out.
Yeah. I mean, you watching this now on Blu-ray, do you see the difference in quality, and do you hear the difference in the sound?
No, I don't. Oh, joke. I see no difference.
No.
No, there's definitely a huge difference. I mean, the pictures are, and that's what I love about it. The picture it looks so much better in Blu-ray.
Oh yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, DVD's still great, but I think Blu-ray just surpasses it. I mean, to be honest, as for Ultra HD, high definition is good enough for me.
Yeah, same here. I mean, 4K.
I mean, it's still, you know, it's not like it's standard definition.
Yeah, it's still like crystal clear.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
4K's 4 times the picture quality, but the problem with 4K is like it's so expensive, and like the 4K, they're like $3.5 grand to buy a 4K.
Oh yeah, I meant
TV,
to tell you. Yeah,
but, you know,
my dad recently got a 4K TV, and I mean we haven't got any 4K channels yet because we're waiting for the Sky Q thing to arrive. But the TV is quite impressive. My dad was keen to get one. I mean, I wasn't fussed about it, but it is. I mean, I've seen 4K videos on YouTube, and it is impressive. You know, for what it is impressive. Oh yeah.
Say about 4K. I will say about 4K though. Yeah, I mean we'll talk about 4 guy on YouTube, and he's called the Blu-ray King, and he's like tons of Blu-rays, and he says he has a 4K player, and he said like he watched his 4K film, not much of a difference between a Blu-ray and 4K, and I've seen a comparison video 4K video Blu-ray, and there isn't much of a difference either. So I'm fine at the moment. I mean, I just bought Blu-ray this year, you know, to 4K, and plus Blu-rays are so expensive. They're 22 Blade Runner on 4K. You know, it's for like £8. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it would look sharp, but even so, I think 1080p is pretty good. You know, pretty damn great.
I know it's so expensive for 4K. 22 quid for Blade Runner, the original. Well, the final cut on HD is 22 quid, and you can get it on Blu-ray, the final cut, for 9 quid. So
yeah.
I mean, by the way, can I ask? You know, is your 4K TV? Is it curved? Is it a curved screen?
No, it's not. It's just a sort of flat screen, basic sort of standard one. But I think eventually my dad will probably get a 4K player for it. So he might buy a 4K Blu-ray at some point, or I might buy him one just to see what it looks like. But I'm not bothered personally. I'll just stick to Blu-ray.
I mean, what's weird is I actually have an HD TV downstairs that takes HDMI cables, but the standard definition, which is odd, but it's good anyway. I mean, actually, I should have put this film on my projector. I should have watched the projector.
Yeah. Well, no, I guess it's good for you to experience it first time hand, seeing how good the quality is on the screen. You know,
yeah, I mean,
projector, you may.
Yeah, I mean, going back here, it's interesting because you see how much of a badass was. Like, he killed his own wife, and then we see Bond, like, there's a microchip put in him because, I mean, like you said before, like, sort of like I'm a Bond, like, she wants to track his movements, she wants to look after him in some kind of way.
Yeah. Also, it's quite graphic when we see Solange's dead body in the it's taken into the bag. I thought that was pretty ballsy for the Bond filmmakers to show that.
Yeah. And Craig's face is quite. I mean, look at him there. I mean, it's like that picture of him with the scars, on his face with the stain in the background. I mean, that's a photo on the back cover of the DVD. Bond has scars on his face. So he's hurt. You know, with Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton, Bond didn't have a scratch on him.
Yeah.
And even more so with Brosnan, he was just a rubber action man.
I love the music score by David Arnold, especially that piece there.
I like this scene here when Vesper arrives. She's like, "I'm the money." He's like, "Every penny of it," you know.
That was a
So
nice reference. Yeah, I'm glad that
Yeah.
they put that in there.
Craig, I mean, this is the first time you see him in a suit. He looks very, very sharp. He looks really, really good in that suit.
Yeah, I think he's a very sharp Bond. I mean, especially as his films progress, we see him in more of a classic. So, like his costumes, he gets into like grey suits, which address his age. He gets into the white tux as well in Spectre. Like his wardrobe extends quite a lot, especially in his latest two films, which I think is incredible. So he evolved.
I like this Vesper because they're just sort of having a nice, you know, like they're just sort of having.
Yeah, because they're like equals and they're reading each other. Yeah.
That's why I'm scared if the next Bond's going to be a woman, because look, Vesper is a strong female character. Bond shit, and it really pisses me off because Barbara Broccoli said on Twitter that after Jodie Whittaker said they were considering making the next Bond a woman because of the positive reaction from Jodie Whittaker being cast, and I just, you know, I'm sorry, but if the next Bond is female, I'm done. I'm just done with the series. Like,
I can't take it seriously.
yeah, I mean, I'll stick with the box set, but after the last film of Craig, if the woman and with the franchise, it's just like if Bond becomes a woman, it will become beyond ridiculous. I mean,
and it's disrespectful to Fleming. I mean, that's not what Fleming imagined, and there's no way you can make that work.
I mean, it's different with Doctor Who. You know, he can regenerate. I mean, it's just stupid. Worse because James Bond is a man. He's a human being. Generate his body. You know, it's dumb. And
I mean, look, we're getting fucking Lara Croft Tomb Raider. We get all these female action movies. So, what's the problem? You know?
Yeah, sorry, but that's it as far as.
I mean, he's called James Bond. Characters. James Bond for a reason.
Yeah, you can't call it Jane Bond. I mean, if the next Bond film was with a woman and they called it Jane Bond, you couldn't call it the James Bond collection anymore. You'd have to call it the James Bond and Jane Bond collection. You know, like what are we gonna have next? Like 23 films with a woman, like the Jane Bond collection. Dumb, like, you know, Gillian Anderson.
Let's just say this because we are live. We're not saying that we have anything against women. Far from it. I love women, and I'm glad that they're getting involved in the spotlight. But for a character like James Bond, who's been so well established, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, there's a tradition, and Fleming, if he'd have wanted a woman, he would have written other versions of the character. But
he would have written it in the book.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if they feel so strongly about it, they can make their own separate parallel universe.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, if they change Bond into a woman, it's political. You know, that's what it is.
Yeah,
like I mean, I agree with you. I've nothing with women. I respect women. You know, I mean, women deserve to be equals in society. They deserve equal pay. They deserve the same rights that men get and everybody get. But my problem is that Bond has always been a male character, and the same with the Doctor. He's always been a male character, and it's worse for Bond because, like someone pointed it out as well. Like, you know, the whole point of Bond is he's a misogynistic git. You know, women
sexist, like misogynist dinosaur.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that was the best line of GoldenEye.
I mean, you could sexist, misogynist dinosaur. I mean, you could, but it just wouldn't work in the same way. Like, you wouldn't
have Bond team up with a female. They did that in The Spy Who Loved Me. I mean, Anya was a strong female character.
You have Anya in her own like spin-off. I mean, I mean, I just think, I mean, yeah, like I said, I like and I respect women, and it's stupid because Fleming never wrote that, and it goes everything against the character. It just ruins everything about the character. And what annoys me is people who are for female James Bond, like Louis said, like Louis said, someone at a school said well, the next Doctor should be a woman, and Louis, you want a female Bond, and he said, yeah, actually I would. And I was just like, no, no.
No. I mean, come on.
I mean, let's be honest. A penis and ball sack, turning into a vagina. It's not believable.
Anyway, let's go back to the film. We're finally arriving at the casino 1 hour into the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Vesper, and I do like Eva Green and Daniel Craig's chemistry. Like, you see that that they like each other, but they also are quite strong characters. Like, you see, Vesper says, "I would see from your I would see from your style that that your ego, possibly an orphan or something like that."
Yeah.
And I like this as well. She points out that he's reckless. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Sanders or whatever, under the name James Bond." Oh yeah, you've blown our
embassy.
Bond. Yeah, but Bond knows that, that the villains will know who he is anyway.
Yeah, I think that's actually quite a silly decision that Bond just made.
Yeah, but he doesn't give a fuck.
I guess like you say, it proves he's reckless and that he isn't this angelic character. He doesn't know everything. He's flawless. No, he's not flawless. He's flawed.
He's a flawed diamond.
Yeah, diamonds are forever.
To say that car, that DB, whatever it is, DB. It's not the DB 10 or 5.
DBS.
Maybe the DBS. Yeah.
DBS.
It's class. I love it, and I love the little gun compartment he has there. It's just bad gun. Although, thank God, thank God in the next film, Wolfer PPK and Quantum of Solace, because in this film he's got the P99, the Brosnan pistol, which, to be honest, I don't care for the P99. The PPK is Bond's signature gun.
I love that aerial shot of the town, Montenegro.
Cameo here where he meets Mathis. With Michael G. Wilson. Michael G. Wilson in the background.
Ha! Bond just takes the champagne.
Could you imagine if Bond said to Mathis, "Hey, Mathis, do the maths."
Yeah, do the maths, Mathis.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel sorry for Mathis because, he's accused of being a bad guy. Bond kind of has him, taken away and imprisoned, and then in the end, in Quantum of Solace, they obviously end. But
Michael G. Wilson. I mean, isn't it? It's interesting that Barbara, not Michael G. Wilson, was the one who said there should be a female Bond, but I mean, but she should think about what her father wanted, what Cubby Broccoli wanted.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have wanted a female Bond.
I mean, Christoph Waltz, he was against it.
Yeah. I have to say, Eva Green is looking pretty. I'm to see the tits in 300 Rise of an Empire.
Thinking about it, this is the first Bond girl who's like an accountant. She's in a real professional job. She's not a ditz. She's not a bimbo. She's a very intelligent woman. This is great. That's a strong female character.
Yeah. Oh, the Brosnan era reflection.
Dun, dun, dun. I love the Vesper theme. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
Like the love theme that they make.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh god,
they ruined the front.
This is a good scene because this is the first time in the Craig era where somebody outsmarts him. She says, there are dinner jackets and dinner jackets. You know, it's like I have a dinner jacket. What? It's tailored. She's like I sized you up the moment we met. So
Yeah.
another reason why I love her. She's just so good at.
Yeah. I love the he got her that she looking fabulous, and then Bond is pissed off that she got him a suit. I mean, there you go. Like Vesper is a strong female character. You don't need a female Bond. You already have.
You know, yeah, I know that Bond wants to fuck her, and yet she gets captured. But other than that, yeah.
But he still respects her as being intellectual. You know, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't think she's. He doesn't think she's done in that suit. By the way.
Yeah. I mean, in the words of Roger Moore, a woman.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean,
great when he's in the tux the first time.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah.
He looks so suave.
Yeah. He can. I mean, the thing is as well about a female Bond, the comic Blonde, Charlize Theron. I watched that. I watched and reviewed that earlier this year. You know, she was really great in that female version of James Bond was set during the Cold War, where she had shot people. So you already have a female James Bond. You know, you don't need a woman. By the way, all this casino stuff is real. Mr. B.
Yeah, the set is incredible. Who's it? Peter Lamont did the set design. I think the casino looks great. Looks really, really great.
I love that scene where he first meets Mr. Beach, or is it Bond? I'm a little confused. Like,
we wouldn't want that now, would we?
Oh, Jeff. Actually, Jeffrey Wright. He was higher with Steve Buscemi. He was in Boardwalk Empire in series 4 and 5. He played this black gangster, and he was kind of like this. He's kind of like this priest slash gangster in Boardwalk Empire in the last 2 series, 4 and 5, and he was actually really good in that. Jeffrey Wright. He was actually really good in that.
Actually, if you think about it, the moment when Lashif says, you know, is that Bond? I'm a little confused. When Craig says, oh, you know, well, we wouldn't want that now, would we? As soon as he reveals himself to be Bond, you know, I think that's when Lashif probably tells Blofeld, Bond is here in the casino. That's probably when Blofeld realizes that when he can start laying his breadcrumb trail, when Bond says he's not Mr. Beach, when he's actually Bond. I've just thought of that. That's actually quite a clever idea.
Yeah, I'm actually. Bond said, "Yeah, life's a beach."
Yeah, well, life's a beach with Bond.
Yeah, I love this poker scene here, like where they're saying you have to cash in your money, and then they're like, "Okay, gentlemen, this is a 5-card game."
Hello, wink.
Go on for as long as you
cash in your money. Lol, wink.
Yeah. No, but I just love this. Like, I mean, yeah, the direction's great here. They make all these poker scenes interesting. This could have been boring as hell, but they made it interesting.
Yeah. Shout out to Martin Campbell for directing this scene, because this is a fucking difficult scene to direct. Not only to shoot it, but also to actually make it, like you say, make it interesting. And they did that. Like, they focus on Bond and Lashif, which I think is great. The close-ups pretty much tell the entire scene. You know.
Yeah, that's what makes these scenes in. You see the characters' reactions, you see Bond's reactions, and you see the reactions as well. Like, that's what makes it interesting. If it just focused on the card game, and just the stacking in chips, and it didn't show you their reactions or what they were thinking or what they were, you know, or their wouldn't have worked as well.
Like that close-up of that intense close-up of Lashif's eyes when he's trying to play Bond, he's trying to make him think that he's, you know, bluffing or, you know, losing, not sure what to do, and, you know, just those little interactions tell a great story in this scene, and that's what's so effective about it.
I have to say that Eva Green, she looks great in that dress, and
wow.
I mean her tits and 3 are.
Yeah, I mean they did say it was a game of poker. I mean that. Again, that scene mirrors the scene earlier with Solange when they kissed the guy's neck.
Oh, could you imagine if Bond came back and says you fuck harder than you fight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, from 300 Rise of an Empire. You fight harder than you fuck. What a great line.
I mean, I have to say that this may sound a bit sexist, but that was the best scene of 300 Rise of an Empire. The sex scene.
Yeah. It was the most energetic scene. I mean, the rest of the movie was boring as fuck.
Yeah, I mean the first one. I mean, surprised actually. 300 Rise of an Empire. I think it was because he was doing fun.
Yeah.
I've only seen like 2 or 3 of Martin Campbell's films, but I think Casino Royale out of the 3 of them is easily the best. I mean, Green Lantern was shit, and and Goldeneye was just.
Yeah. I'm surprised Martin Campbell directed Green Lantern. It doesn't look like he made it.
I just like the fact that it looks like Craig's like, go send the barman over, play vodka martinis. It's like lemon beard.
Yeah. Although it's funny when he asks for a drink earlier and he says, "Do I look like I give a damn?"
Yeah, I love that. And it was just, and they're like, I'll have one of those. I'll have one of those too.
I mean, I feel sorry for the barman to remember all of that. You know, like what? What? So, your drink, sir? I just told you. You know,
I like the fact that the chief's pissed off. He's like, "Is that it? Anyone want to play poker now?" Like, you can tell he's nervous. He's anxious.
He's desperate. Yeah.
It's interesting as well that he's got an inhaler. Like, you know, I mean, most Bond villains, like with a disability, like he's got like that. I love the fact as well, like Bond's like trying to play things up. Like he goes over to Vesper and he kisses her, and she like comes over to him as well.
Yeah. He's just showing off there.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, he's the fittest Bond girl, but I mean, she's pretty great looking in the dress. She's looking pretty damn fine.
Ah, she's classy.
Yeah. What's interesting is she's part French.
Yeah, she has I think one of her one of her parents has a French in them, I think.
Yeah.
I think she was born in France, Eva Green.
Yeah. You know what's great is that the guy is working class. He's a really working class guy. Like I said, he was homeless for a lot of years, and he plays Bond with a lot of class and sophistication. Like when I was watching Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace, I didn't even know he was like a working class guy. Like, I mean, he played it really well. Like, he's got a lot of class to him.
Oh yeah.
And I respect the guy as a working class guy, and he managed to to land the role of Bond, and not only that, but our friends and ninja stuff. Even Logan Lucky. I mean, I didn't see Logan Lucky, but you know, I mean, I love that bit in the trailer where he's like, "I am incarcerated."
Yeah, I mean, he's great in the movie. The movie is unfortunately very dull, but he's very good in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Bang.
Like that. Yeah, I love the bit where like he puts that thing or whatever it is into inhaler.
I said no bacon. I said no bacon.
And that bit's great. Like with Vesper, like where she comes up to him, he's like, "You want to?" And she's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, I am incarcerated.
Well, now we get one of the best action scenes, the stairwell fight. Amazing.
I fucked Vesper Lind.
Oh yeah,
I
Jack.
have to say, the chief has a fit girlfriend as well. Yeah, what were you saying?
Yeah, she is. But are you planning to buy War for the Planet of the Apes on Blu-ray?
Oh yeah, I saw it out today. HMV. I think I'm gonna buy it next week. I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray set of all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you do, we should do a commentary on war.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
We should on Battle just to rip the piss out of it, or the 2000.
I mean, it is only a short film as well, so we could.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Like that scene is like where the fact that the Nigerians came back and because they haven't got. It's really interesting. It's
Yeah,
interesting. I think this is one of the where you see the main villain in peril. Even he has people who are after him. Because most of the time in Bond films, the villain, like, he's untouchable, but here he's in trouble because he hasn't paid his money back.
Yeah. I mean, he's not intimidated by Urbano, but obviously when Mr. White finds him towards the end, we know then that, okay, Lashif is not the top dog. He's clearly...
No, he actually cares for his girlfriend. They're about to cut off his arm, and he actually cares about her.
Blofeld would be like, go on, fine. Kill the bitch.
No.
Yes.
Oh no, the word of protest. You can tell though in his face that he doesn't want him to harm her, even though he doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
Guys, I mean, they're real scary. Like, yeah. I love the fact that Bond's like pretending to kiss with Vesper. And this action scene is awesome. Video game. Disappointed in the video game that the fight on the stairs was just a quick time event.
Yeah, all you do is press a few buttons, which is a shame.
Yeah, like, I really wanted to get involved in the action on the stair fight.
Yeah, it wasn't. It didn't have the edge that it had in the movie.
Yeah, but this action scene is great. It's so brutal. Like Bond. The jumping around. Guy's got his sword. Bond's got blood in his shirt.
I mean, this scene alone, it just proves how gritty Craig Bond is.
Yeah.
This guy is not.
The thing is as well, is he doesn't even shoot the guy. He strangles him to death. Basically, he chokes him to death.
Yeah. I mean, that's dark for Bond. I mean, I think it was good that they went this far. They had the balls to go this far because it works.
Oh God! Could you imagine if the black guy that attacked Bond was Philip or something like that?
Oh, don't talk about Philip like that.
No, I'm not being racist. I'm just saying, could you imagine if Philip was one of the black guys that Bond had to kill?
Oh, God, no, I couldn't imagine. No, actually, I think the character's called Urbano, if I remember correctly. Stephen Urbano. I think
Montalbano.
He realizes, oh shit, this guy's a killer.
He is in shock though. It's just as though.
No, I mean Vesper.
Yeah, I know. You could see the blood. There's blood all over his shirt. There's blood in his head. There's blood in his body. You can tell he's in pain.
Yeah. I mean, look at this.
Oh, by the way, this next. Yeah. Even if it's like the Terminator, could you imagine if he took a knife to his eye and cut his eye out? It turned out he was Craig was to make sense. He's that much of a killer. I must terminate Le Chief.
His name's Bond, James Bond.
I like the fact that he looks at himself. What am I? What have I become? Or something.
I think he's just trying to find out who he is. Really, I think he's like, who am I? Am I Bond? I think by the end of the movie, he realizes he is Bond, James Bond.
Yeah.
He's just a guy who's in this situation.
a little until I start weeping blood.
Oh.
If I was the chief, I would just. oh God!
Weeping.
Scene here, like where Bond arrives in an apartment. You edited that together so well. Like when he sees the cracked glass, you edited that together so well. In the like where he opens the door, and it cuts to me, half crying about Rustin. Like you edited it so well.
Thank you. It was. I thought, you know what, it had to be done.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a clever idea to do that.
Yeah, it was like Pierce Brosnan. They ruined the.
Yeah.
I was like, the blood. It won't go. Like cuts to Craig saying, "Let me see." Like.
This scene is lovely. I really like it when
Yeah.
he goes to comfort her, showing that, you know what, this guy does have a sensitive side. He's not a complete brute, and you know, he comforts her. You know, realizing that, you know what, this is what he does.
This may sound odd, but you know the way she says the blood, it won't go away. It kind of reminds me of Lady Macbeth from the Shakespeare play Macbeth, like where she says, you know, damn spot out, you know, because she's killed all those people. Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, because she instigated it, didn't she? The whole thing.
Yeah, Lady Macbeth. Yeah,
I mean,
it kind
it
of
is a
reminds
bit
me of
weird
that
when he's.
scene.
The only weird thing about this scene is when he's sucking her fingers, but other than that, beautiful.
Imagine if they played. Maybe it's Maybelline.
God. I mean,
Like
when he turns the shower.
Craig turns on the shower. Garnier, because you're worth it.
Because you're worth it. Take care, Garnier. Yeah, L'Oreal, because you're worth it.
You and I had a mutual shampoo.
I mean, the music is lovely as well. But, not Thomas Newman.
David Arnold's score is great.
Yeah.
His score for Die Another Day was okay, but this is much better, I think.
I agree. I mean, the score for Die Another Day was okay, but the themes that they had were quite black.
I did not like the score for Tomorrow Never Dies, like the Bond theme, like like they did a remix.
Like the printing press theme. It's cool, but I mean, the scores for the Brosnan movies weren't bad. I mean, other than the Eric Serra one, but, you know, I think
the guy who did the remix, for the Bond theme for Tomorrow Never Dies, like he admitted that it wasn't as good as the original. Like he said it was Bond, but he said like he thought his remix wasn't as good as the original theme.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Thomas Newman made an epic score for Skyfall. Skyfall, to me, has a brilliant soundtrack. I'm not just talking about the Adele song as well. That was also brilliant.
Oh yeah, Mathis gets arrested here, which, you know, you feel bad for him.
The guy gets arrested. Mathis.
Oh, so the guy gets arrested.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm a Vesper related to Mathis.
Vesper related to Mathis? No, I don't think they are. They're just people working together.
It's just like I thought because they had a close relationship that they were related.
No, I think Mathis is just a contact that they had and that they were working with.
Yeah, this scene's great here.
I mean, I love the line that Mathis says to Bond earlier at the window, at the balcony. He says, "Has she melted your cold heart yet?"
I mean, Bond in this film, he's a killer. You know, he's not a goo machine. He's not a guy who makes stupid one-liners all the time. This guy has his humor, but this guy's a killer. He's going to kill you if you get in his way.
I mean, he's a charmer at the same time. You know, he'll charm his way around, but you know, he means business. You know,
I mean, he is kind of like the Terminator, but with a bit more charm. Like Dalton, I think, was like the Terminator in License to Kill. Like his vengeance to kill is like he was like the Terminator in that. I think actually he's more of the. I'd say a bit more like the Quantum of Solace because he's emotionally shut off, killing everybody.
Yeah.
I know Alan has a problem with Bond Wallace, and I know Alan has a problem that Bond just kills everybody and he's reckless. But I mean, he's emotionally shut off. He's Disturber's death. He feels betrayed by her, and he also feels that he feels betrayed, but he also feels like that he was partly to blame as well. Like when Mathis says to him, "Oh, forgive yourself," that's why he's killing everybody in Quantum. He's so by what happens in this film because Vesper is sort of his first kind of love. Like, I mean, the agency for her, and then she cheats him and she dies. It just, I mean, it breaks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, could you imagine if Mr. White? Could you imagine if could you imagine if Vesper betrayed him? He left like Craig went and said, you broke my heart."
That would have been an interesting twist.
Scene's really great.
This is interesting because you think, oh, like predictably, you think, oh yeah, of course Bond is going to win, but they trick you.
Oh, yeah.
Oops.
Oh yeah, Bond calls Lashif's bluff, like Lashif's bluffing, and then Bond calls his bluff and puts everything, loses all the money. Like you see one Jack and it's two Jacks. Like he basically, if I was Bond, I'd be saying to Lashif, like, "I saved your life, you prick. I saved your life, and you're gonna take them."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but I think this is when Bond realizes, you know what? I mean, he was a bit of a dick and he was overconfident, and he's now just funded world terrorism, and he's like, well, I need to buy back in. But obviously, Vesper isn't budging. I like the scene here in the balcony.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but this bit, the bit where after the game ends and the chief walks off, Bond is just still in shock. Yeah, this scene where he's saying, "Oh, do that." Like he's even more arrogant. He's like, "Yeah, you do it. Just give me more.
Show me the money.
Yeah.
Show
me the money.
Show me the fucking money." Yeah. Like Eggsy and Kingsman, put it down, put it fucking down.
or it's like, yeah, show me the money from Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise, where it's like, "Hey, say it, show me the money, say it louder, show me the money."
You're an idiot. You're a bloody idiot.
Yeah. But even you can tell Bond, he's getting quite aggressive. Give me the money, I want it. I know I can beat him. Just give me more money. And she said, "No, we can't." She doesn't want to help.
Don't care how, I want it now.
Yeah. No, but I mean, basically she's a secretary for the Treasury and she can't do that. She can't give him more money. In this scene here, this scene where he says Vodka Martina. Yeah. I mean, that pissed some people off, but I don't mind it. I think it's good.
It works with his character.
I mean, this may sound odd, but yeah, like when he goes for the table knife, like he's gonna kill the chief. Like,
yeah.
No. I like this scene where Felix Leiter basically says to him, I can help you out. Yeah. I think he's really good as Felix, but I just don't think he's as good as David Hedison.
Yeah, I think he's quite interesting. I'd like to see more of him.
Yeah, I mean that's my that's my problem with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. He's not in them enough.
Yeah,
he needs to be in them more.
I think if they can do it, they should bring him back for Bond 25, just because it's Craig's last one. So to do that, I think would round it off nicely. because I was disappointed in Spectre that we didn't actually get to see Felix. I know we heard about him, that he was obviously to help Monica Bellucci, but it would have been nice to actually see him.
I don't mind that. I think the reason why though,
Well, no, at least like hear his voice, like on the when Bond was on the phone to him or something.
I think they might bring him back for Craig's last one anyway.
Yeah, I hope so.
What I'm worried about if there is a female Bond is what are they going to do with Moneypenny and Q? Are they going to make them into like are they going to make Moneypenny into Money Pound and make her do a man?
Money Pound.
Like, yeah. Like are they going to make Moneypenny Money Pound and make her into a him? Like, is there going to be flirting between like a female Bond and a?
We're in a female M. We're Judi Dench.
Yeah, like if they had a female Bond, like would there be a male Moneypenny and a female Q and like a male M or something like that? I don't know.
I don't know. I would like them to keep the same group that they have at the moment.
It would just be weird though if you had a female Bond and you had like Naomi Harris as a female Moneypenny, like, and they were flirting together. It's like, what Bond? Like this female Bond's a lesbian.
She's the money, but she's the one that's done the most action. All the Moneypennies. She's been away from the desk in Skyfall.
I still say Lois Maxwell's the best though.
Oh yeah, no contest. But Naomi Harris, she's the one that's had the most to do outside of the desk.
Yeah. No, she's great, and again, another strong female character. Like,
and she's black, I mean,
yeah.
Not that is an issue or not, but I'm just saying, that's another contributing factor. They have done things that are PC, and
yeah, exactly. It's the same with Doctor Who. Like, Bill was a black lesbian woman. Like, Bill was a black lesbian woman. Did you really need a female Doctor after that? Wasn't that politically correct enough for you? I really like this scene where Bond is poisoned and he's throwing up in the bathroom. Playing this level in the game was really hard, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of a pointless level in a way because you didn't really do much. You just have to walk around and.
It was a hard level though. Like it was kind of hard to navigate, but I didn't mind it.
I mean, I like this because, like, despite the fact there's a big card game going on, they never compromise, to stop with any excitement. They still give you life or death situations.
And this bit here with the heart resuscitator, that's interesting.
The stairwell fight, Bond nearly getting poisoned. It's all still exciting.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like that secretary guy in this film, he's shit. He does nothing. Like he's pointless. I mean, even Tanner, I don't really care for. Like, for me, it's Q and Moneypenny. Like, Tanner and the secretary guy, I just don't think they're that necessary, but...
Tanner's all right, He's okay. He doesn't really make much of an impact.
Yeah. No, but this is really tense. He has to put on the heart resuscitator and Judi Dench is there. Like, everybody's giving him advice what to do.
Yeah.
And, like, when he charges it, it doesn't work because it's not plugged in.
Digitalis.
Take the blue combi pen, Bond. Mid-neck, into the vein.
Push the damn button!
Take the bloody shot!
Yeah. But M is so direct with Bond,
Push the red button now, Bond.
What Judi Dench has, which makes her great, she reminds me of Bernard Lee, and she's quite snappy with Bond, but she also cares for him.
Yeah. She falls under the...
Do it now! Take the bloody shot, Bond!
I guess that's a weakness, really, as her as M. Not in her performance, but just as the character. She has a weakness of being too sentimental towards him, and that obviously leads her to her death.
The wire, like, it's not connected. Although Vesper saves his life. I mean, actually, what's interesting is the defibrillator is actually made by a guy from Northern Ireland called Professor Pantridge, and my mum actually met him. He's the guy who invented the defibrillator that Bond uses. Yeah.
Ooh.
He was a Japan. Yeah, he was a surgeon, like, and he was caught by the Japanese, and they I think they cut the veins in his fingers so he couldn't be a surgeon. That's why he invented the defibrillator. But my mum met him years ago. Sorry, not my mum. My auntie met him.
and then he just carries on with the game.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen around the cinema. I would have loved to have seen it at the cinema.
Could you imagine if he changed his shirt again? Like this time, the game really did cause him to perspire.
Yeah. Imagine if he just came back without his shirt.
Can you imagine if he played poker naked, like strip poker?
You wouldn't be allowed to go up and come back this many times into the game.
Yeah. Could you imagine like they were playing it and it was like strip poker? Like that last hand nearly killed me. And like Le Chiffre's surprised he's still alive.
Nearly killed me.
Yeah. Could you imagine if they were playing strip poker, like that big fat black guy, like he has his shirt off? It would just be like weird and hilarious.
God, it's 1 hour 39 minutes. It's moving along. It's quick.
Yeah.
It's paced really well.
It's not super fast, but it is moving by pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a long film, but
yeah, I mean, I think these poker scenes are a bit long, but not in the bad way. They're still interesting,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. Like the music they play as well, and the close up of the cards and the people's reaction. That's what makes it really good.
Yeah.
What this has that Die Another Day doesn't is the realism. It's very real.
What it has that Die Another Day doesn't is filmmaking.
Yeah. I mean, this has a realism about it. I mean, Martin Campbell, out of his 3 films, I say it's easily the best. Die Another Day is terrible, and GoldenEye's okay, and Green Lantern is awful. So
yeah,
And
this is
I like the fact that Bond isn't playing a lot of money. At this point, he's letting his chief deal all his money in. He's not going to fall for the same trick twice.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's put 5 million. Still a fair amount,
Yeah, but he's still got all that other money, and he's letting Le Chiffre put his money in first. I also like the fact that Le Chiffre's like playing with the poker chips, like he's like putting them between his hands, like interchanging them. Like it's like sort of his way to relieve tension. Oh yeah, God, yeah, he's putting all that money in. Like God,
all in. It's a risk, Oh God.
Like you think you think this time he might have learned from his mistake, like putting all his money in again, like. Even Le Chiffre hasn't done that.
I mean, well, it's a risk that paid off. He was lucky, I think. I think it was luck in the game.
Yeah, it's little, but mostly luck. Yeah. All mine in. I'll win all your money.
I mean, Vesper summed it up when she said, we're risking millions of dollars on a game of luck. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. You have to sometimes you have to risk it all.
Oh God! Imagine if Bond was in a brothel. It's like we're risking all our money on a game of fuck.
They have to risk it all because the writing's on the wall.
The cum's on the wall.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I mean they put all their money in, and you think Bond, he's gonna fuck up again, but he doesn't, And Le Chiffre this time gets cocky. He gets cocky by putting all his money in.
Yeah. What's interesting also was during behind the scenes, Daniel Craig and the producers and some of the others would actually play poker. They would actually understand the game fully, and I think that obviously helped them when they were filming these scenes that they just played poker.
Yeah, ace and sixes. Yeah, ace and sixes, and then Bond shows his hand, and it's like you think he's gonna lose, but he wins. He wins.
Yeah.
A 7 and a 5.
Yeah. It's weird that Le Chiffre, we find out he owes money to obviously, the stock market, and then obviously he owes money to Spectre.
Yeah, Bond gets a straight flush. And it's interesting, like at that moment, Le Chiffre starts weeping blood.
Lol. Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Thank you very much.
I like the fact that Bond like gives the guy the little like check, like the little bit of money as well. Like he just throws him a bit of money and he's like, "Oh, thanks." Like,
Thank you very much. Yeah. And then the CIA are gonna, bring him in.
and like you could tell like Vesper like wants a bit of that beef. Like she's smiling at him like
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah.
let's beef it up in your room.
I wonder actually how much money Le Chiffre owes Blofeld. You think?
Yeah.
I mean, there must be a huge price that that's on his head to get him back. You know.
Yeah, we're now 43 minutes in, and it's flown by.
I mean, this movie's 2 hours 24 minutes. It's very long, but
Yeah,
it hasn't felt it to me.
this might sound weird, but do you think Eva Green looks a bit like Emma Watson?
Don't see it personally.
No, an older Emma Watson, not like a young Emma Watson, or whatever.
I
Yeah.
don't see it personally. I can't see any resemblance.
Do you think she looks like Jodie Whittaker? Joking.
She looks like Eva Green.
Eva tits.
He's like, I'm going to call it Vesper because once you've tasted it, that's all you want to drink.
And oh god, like Vesper, like Vesper, whisper.
Yeah.
Could you imagine could you imagine like Bald eating into like a chocolate bar like a whisper? It's like a Vesper, it's a whisper.
It's a whisper. Dun, dun, dun. Bond just,
Oh no!
imagine like one night Bond is just emotional when she's dead. He just goes shower just with a whisper and starts eating it.
So could you imagine like he just goes into his room, like gets out like 50 bars of like whispers, like just shoves it into his mouth, like Vesper.
And I like this because she's questioning what he does. She's like, does it bother you killing those people? It says, well, I wouldn't be very good at my job if it did.
Yeah.
It's a similar scene in Spectre with Madeline when she says,
Yeah, what's interesting is that like she says she's a good Catholic or something like that, so she must be, slightly religious. So the fact that Bond
being
seduces...
raised in an orphanage, yeah, you kind of are up that way.
Yeah, I know, but she's quite religious, and he manages to charm her, like wins her over.
The power of
cock.
Yeah.
Hooray.
I don't honestly know what actually prompts Bond to think of Mathis.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Casino Royale, like the fact that Bond is so grieved, I think that's sort of the inspiration for like my idea of like Bond becoming overweight, and I think you did, and I think how you realize that idea in Larger Than Life is just hilarious, like. Like Vesper's killed by Max Zorin, and then Bond he gets really fat, like Connery force feeds him, and like he's like underneath the bed, he's like where's Bond?
Coming up is a world record scene, record break.
Oh, this action scene is great, and the stunt is real. The stunt is real.
Yeah, none of this crappy CGI windsurfing.
Yeah, the car flips, yeah. I mean, God's sake, that car is really destroyed. How Bond isn't killed, I do not know, because a car flipped over that many times. You think Bond would be dead.
Yeah, I mean, as realistic as this movie is, there are some slight conveniences. But you know what? I'll forgive it. It's Bond, And at the end of the day...
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. Like they put Vesper on the middle of the road. I'm surprised she wasn't killed by another car before Bond's car arrived.
Yeah. Also, again, like when she said, "Oh, Mathis needs me," it's like, what did that trigger in Bond to make him think that Mathis was a bad guy?
Yeah, what's interesting is like, how do they know that Bond has a microchip in his arm? Like they must have found another double O agent before that had a microchip in his arm.
Maybe.
He said, "My friend Mathis." I mean, he's just saying that to like, to basically make, I mean, you think he is a double agent because of what like Lashi said to him, but
maybe they just noticed the microchip when they were dragging him out the car. They thought, "Oh, let's take that out so MI6 can't find him when they torture."
or they might have noticed the cut in his arm from the microchip. Like,
Blood won't
like
go
they might
away.
have noticed a scar from that.
Oh God, here we go. The scene that
Can you imagine like Die Another Day? I mean, they had a torture near as brutal as this.
I mean, this is a ball-crushing scene, literally.
Yeah, I mean, what ruined the torture scene in Die Another Day was that they played the torture scene throughout the title sequence with the stupid Madonna song.
I don't know to be honest, I don't know
it just
what was
takes
more
away all
torture.
the it just takes away all the impact from the torture scene. Like,
Yeah.
could you imagine if the Casino Royale title sequence was, Bond getting his balls whipped? It would have taken all the emotion and all the tension away from the scene.
Especially with Chris Cornell's "You Know My Name."
Yeah, I mean, this is the first. Yeah, I mean, this is the first time in a Bond film you've seen Bond genuinely scared. Like he's really disturbed. Like they've cut out to see the Cherry's naked, and like just that look in his face. He's genuinely scared. Like they're gonna torture Vesper and they're gonna torture him.
Yeah. I mean, going back to Die Another Day, you talk about that scene. I don't know what was more torture, the fucking Madonna song or the actual torture scene.
Yeah.
Trying to sit through both of them was pretty difficult.
Well, like Bond grows a beard. He looks like a tramp. And then like, I mean, what was so stupid about Die Another Day is he actually stopped his heart by thinking about his torture. How the fuck does that work?
Yeah. I don't get it. You've taken good care of your body.
Yeah, this scene is just so... Yeah, this scene is just so dark.
It's so well acted as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's in real pain. I'm actually surprised it got a 12 because this scene is quite brutal.
Well, actually, the Blu-ray is the uncut version. Blu-ray is 15.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. So I'm watching the uncut version here.
Oh.
What did they include in the Blu-ray that was cut out?
I think there was an extra swing on the balls. I'm not sure. I think there's
they cut out Bond's bollocks. Bond's bollocks being cut out was cut out of the DVD.
Yeah.
I'm only joking. I mean, this is desperate. Even though he's like he's torturing him, he's desperate to find.
Ooh.
Oh God. Jesus. Can you imagine if it was Brosnan? Yo! Like it was Brosnan.
To the right! To the right!
No, like, could you imagine him just saying, "One last screw"?
Yeah. Craig does tend to pout quite a lot.
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah. So
I don't mind it. It's a good look.
This may sound weird, but like when he's pouting, he looks a bit like Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
What? Caesar doesn't pout. What?
Well, no, but when he pouts, he just looks serious like Caesar. No, like weird, but when he's pouting, he looks serious. He looks serious like Caesar. Always has that serious face on him.
You're a funny man, Mr. Bond.
To the right. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
That would wreck so much.
this is intense. The fact that after his recovery, he's so quickly able to have sex.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
That is stupid.
I mean, the best
You
line.
died scratching my balls.
Could have died scratching my balls.
I died. I like the fact that Bond's still a cocky prick. I like the fact that Bond's still a cocky prick.
You are so wrong. But
Yeah.
she's really like pissed off.
No, you know what's really funny? Bond still has the balls to like say all this stuff while his balls are getting whacked.
Yeah. Probably thinks others
He's
know.
he's really cocky when his cock's being whacked.
Yeah. Feel a bit cocky about the cock.
I'll give you the password. Fuck off.
You want a password? Fuck you!
The password is whisper.
And it ain't about how hard you can enter the password.
It ain't about how hard you hit my balls. It's how hard my balls can get hit and keep moving forward. How much I can take and keep moving forward. That's how fucking is done.
I'll feed you what you see, not the value. It's about to make him a eunuch. When I'm done, they won't be calling you penis anymore. They'll be calling you eunuch.
No, could you imagine Craig saying like, "It's not hot. It's not hot." Could you imagine? Oh yeah, Mr. White. He just shoots him in cold blood. He's like, "I'll get the money." He's like, "We don't need you," and he just kills him.
Like, Blofeld is done with you now. You failed. You didn't pay back the money. So fuck you. Goodbye.
As well, which is interesting.
Kind of like, in a way, I kind of would have liked Bond and Le Chiffre to have a fight, but to be fair, that scene was quite intense. So
Yeah. What was I going to say though? Like, could you imagine like Craig saying to Vesper, "It's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. You can take and keep moving forward." That's how. That was interesting.
yeah. Read about what you do to my little finger.
Don't push it. Yeah, I mean this scene's interesting. Bond's basically in a coma in some kind of ways. He's like coming out of a coma.
And he's like, no, Mathis. Yeah, like, why does he think Mathis betrayed him? Like,
Because your friend Mathis.
yeah, no, but before
sorry,
that,
my friend.
like, I meant like before Vesper was captured, when he said Mathis, like, what made him think Mathis was like suspect?
I think we just met him and he didn't know that much about him. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or in his little balls.
I mean, we are coming close to the ending.
You know, I mean, the scene where they're like kissing and like in their bedroom and you have the montage. I'm sorry, but it's on Her Majesty's Secret Service. I mean, like, you know, when they were kissing and all that, I could just imagine them playing "We Have All the Time."
Yeah.
Actually, funnily enough, Louis Armstrong was on TV last night. They were playing "Icy's Green."
Yeah.
Sorry, skies are blue, green fields too.
World. Yeah, I understand. I mean, to be honest, I do like Bond and Tracy's relationship in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. The chemistry is great, despite Lazenby's bad acting. But that's one setback. At least both the actors can act in this movie, and for me,
Yeah.
I just felt there was a bit more of a chemistry. But I mean, Bond and Tracy was still great, and obviously married.
To be honest, the whole Lazenby relationship with Diana Rigg, I actually did buy it. Like, I like that together. And he says, "I'll never meet another girl like you. Like, I want to marry you."
Me?
Yeah, with him in the barn, who says, "I'll never meet another girl like." And I think the one scene, even you, is like when she dies. Is like, "Oh, world." I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
clearly Cragen is the stronger Bond though.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Obviously, but Lazenby was actually. I think he was good in the love relationship for me anyway. Although I will say, like, I mean, why they put in the love story to Casino Royale? Like, Bond needs a motivation to be the ruthless killer that he is. Like, I can understand why they did it. I can understand.
It's her death, and it's her decisions, her motivations that actually change.
No. You know, yeah. I mean, I know why they added in a love story because it was the first in the series that was a reboot. how Bond became Bond. They wanted to show how her death like made him the ruthless killer of the other films. I understand why they did it.
Yeah.
I don't buy it that much. I mean, they have good chemistry, but I just feel for me like it drags the film a little bit. I mean, I just think go on a bit like, but I mean, I understand why they did it because they need a motivation. Like they need an explanation as to why Bond is the way.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But I think obviously because of what she did, I think that hurts him more than the death.
Yeah.
The fact that obviously she's dead and that's very sad, but I think what hurts him more is the fact that she betrayed him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing on Master's Secret Service. We didn't get to see that, but I mean, the fact that his wife got killed, like he had a motivation to kill Blofeld. I mean, you only saw that in Forever, where he's like, "Where's Blofeld? Where can I find him?"
Yeah.
And
My name is Bond, James Bond.
yeah, I mean, that's one thing I will say. The opening of Diamonds Are Forever is like a good sequel to On Her Majesty's Secret Service. He's like, "Where's Blofeld? Where can I?"
But it should have
find
been the
him,
whole
like-
film. Should have been the whole
Yeah.
film.
It should have been the whole film. I agree. But as it stands as a film, I enjoy it. I enjoy it as a bit of campy fun. I mean, it was my first Bond. Really hate
Oh
it.
God, sorry.
Diss it.
This line when he's that's because you know what I can do with my little finger. Oh,
Yeah.
that is a squishy line. Now that is
Yeah.
now that's a Roger Moore line.
Yeah.
That's because you know what I can do with my little finger.
Yeah, I can saying that's because you know what I can do with my little finger. Like no, it kind of reminds me. That's what you know I can do with my little finger. It kind of reminds me of that line from Octopussy. That's my little octopussy,
That's my little octopusy.
and that's my little finger.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what Roger said? That's my little finger. Octopussy.
Yeah. God, what's that? That's my little dick.
It's
where it's going.
it's so funny in Alan Partridge, like where he's describing the spot. Oh, Bond's with a lady, and to go see her, dear, something's come up, and then like Michael says, like,
I actually really like the montage. I think it's sweet. And the
I mean, for me,
Lovely.
I mean, I know it just reminds me to Secret Service, and yeah, how can he like be so fucker after like immediately like
yeah.
after after he's been through that torture? I mean, what I want to know is how can Bond fuck after that beating that he got from the chief?
I think time has passed since he's been since his recovery. Yeah.
But here and like the way that they're embracing each other, it just reminds me from Modern Majesty's Secret Service. I mean, but like I said, I understand why people like the love story. I can understand why you appreciate it, and I understand why they did it. I understand that they did it. I understand they did it because that Bond, how Bond becomes Bond, they need to show that he had a love, and then she died and betrayed him, and that.
Yeah, it was all to do
eventually.
That he learned his lesson that he couldn't trust anybody, and it sort of it made him become Bond, and like I said, it's Bond begins. Film is.
Yeah.
But I understand your reservation. Understand your reservations with the love story.
Yeah. Can you imagine if Le Chiffre was like at the poker game? He's like, "Who are you?" And like Bond just arrives like, "I'm Bond, James."
I'm glad they saved the classic line to the very end of the movie later, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh God, could you imagine if Craig? Could you imagine if Craig was on the beach with Vesper and he says, "I don't course rough and irritating," and it gets everywhere.
God. Yeah, I mean, I don't think the montage is that long. It doesn't go on very long. I mean, they get to the climax pretty quickly. I mean, maybe that's just me because I think it's paced really well.
I think it is paced like pretty substantially. Like it's boring. Don't get me wrong. It's still paced pretty well. I just feel like the scene after the tour, like with like scenes with him and Vesper, I just think for me they go on a bit too. You know, I get it. He's in love. He loves her. I just scene after the torture scene with him and Vesper goes on a bit, but just my opinion anyway.
Yeah. To be fair, again, the music's good. You know, we got to praise David on, and you know, actually insane that he would actually hand his resignation in. You know.
Yeah, I mean, he went below like recently, you know, and now he's retiring. By the way, how old was Daniel Craig when he did this? Was he in his late 30s, like 38 or 39?
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah.
I know he's in his late 40s.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, instead of a woman as the next Bond, I'd want Tom Hardy as the next Bond. I mean, or maybe someone who's unknown, like go for. I think
I'd rather
instead
go for an unknown. Yeah. So it's worthy to know.
What'd you say?
We haven't been to Venice since I think Moonraker was the last time we went to Venice.
Yeah, you're right, actually. And it's interesting, like, you know, Bond resigns and she's with him on the boat, and then she sees that guy with the glasses and like, yeah, take pigeon like when Bond resigns.
Yeah. Da, 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 da.
I think the scene with them in bed is a bit unnecessary. Like,
hello, pretty lady.
I've got. Do you imagine if, like, instead of Vesper married Catherine Tate, or like settled down with her, like in that sketch for comic relief?
Well, Catherine Tate, you know, she doesn't know what I do, but she knows.
Like she leaves, like she gets him to leave, and like he leaves her like a teddy bear, like she throws it in the bin.
He says he's an actor, but I've never heard of him.
I love that sketch. I mean, Daniel Craig is Daniel Craig. Yeah, Daniel Craig is really good at comic relief sketch, and he also did that sketch for I'm trying to remember his name now. Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. Oh, the Bond one with when he's like, I need a car, you know. I need a car.
You know, he's really good at like he's good.
No, I was just saying he's done a lot of comedy sketches for SNL. Saturday
Yeah.
Night. He's very funny in all of them.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, but he can be funny as well. Yeah, I mean, for me the pacing is really good. It only slows down when you have the scenes after the torture scene. But like I said, that's just me. Like, that's just me. I still really like this film, though. Don't get me wrong. I still think this is a fantastic reboot. Still a great film. But my only problems are I care that much for the love story, and I miss Q Moneypenny. But apart from, I think I might actually have to bump this up from an 8 to a 9 out of 10.
Yay! 9 out of 10, yeah. That's fair enough. I'm glad that you bumped it up a bit. I think it deserves to be at least a 9.
Yeah. No, I know you and I'll love it. And I still really like it. Like I said, there's just a couple of Bond elements that are missing for me, and the love story doesn't engage me as much as on match, but it's still great. Like, still be needed after the
I actually
that was Die Another
Day. Romance here was more needed than the one in Spectre. I mean, I like Madeline.
I agree. I'll agree with that. I mean, I never saw Bond being in love. I just never saw him being in love with her.
Yeah, I mean, she obviously is him. But, yeah, no, Bond doesn't fall for her. He really likes her. He fancies her, obviously. Which is a woman, you know. You know.
Tense here, like where he finds where he's talking to Judi Dench. She says, "Oh, you haven't to gets the text."
Yeah.
He finds the text on her phone. He's like running.
Yeah. And like he's like, "Oh shit, the bitch betrayed me," you know. Fuck.
I know one person who doesn't like Casino Royale because it was a reboot, which I can understand, but I think you needed to reboot it after Die Another Day. I think it needed to be rebooted.
I think to say something because it's a reboot, that's not a valid criticism. You need to explain your point, really, rather than just say that.
Yeah.
The climax in the stinking house is awesome. I think it's epic.
Yeah, I mean that scene and the what was the other scene? The bit where the car flies up in the air. Not the other bit, but the one before that. Yeah. The bit where the car is floating and the building sinking. Pieces of CGI in the movie. Those are the only two pieces of CGI, which is a rubber action man CGI shit fest.
Yeah.
You know, Die Another Day, this is 11 years old. Die Another Day is 15 years old, and the CGI in that was dated so badly. I mean, I know this came out 4 years later, but it's not. But it's only 4 year difference in time, and Die Another Day, like,
even if you're a Brosnan fan, you have to admit Die Another Day was pretty poor. It was very, very, very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, even Calvin Dyson admits that it's one of the worst Bond films. I think he put it in number 22. Number 24 is Quantum, then Thunderball. Then...
Yeah. This film is amazing.
I love that bit.
And they kept that style.
Yeah.
Even Spectre.
This action climax is great. Not, but like he says, like, I'll kill her, and he's like, allow me.
No.
Like, CGI of Die Another Day. Like, the worst bit of CGI is the wind-servable bit of CGI, like where you see the cars all in the rice fields, like they're sticking out of the rice fields, and it's just so bad.
Yeah, it's at least we're gonna die rich. Oh yeah, I get it. Filmmakers are gonna die rich. Yeah.
Another terrible CGI scene is where Halle Berry like falls backwards off the cliff. Like, oh my god.
I think Casino Royale is what the franchise needed. Fresh air.
Yeah, I mean, what's ridiculous was that because what's ridiculous was that apparently they were going to do a spin-off with Jinx. Like, they were going to do like that would have been terrible. That would have been awful. I'm sorry, but Halle Berry is Jinx. She's probably one of the worst Bond girls. I'm going to be honest, she might be the worst.
Yeah, I don't think she's the worst Bond girl. I mean, I don't think Halle Berry's that bad. It's just
I'd say actually I'd say Christmas Jones might be the worst. Actually,
it's hard to say really who's the worst Bond girl.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before, but this looks so great in HD. It's just so great on Blu-ray.
I mean, you notice it a lot with the older films as well, like with the Roger Moore movie. You notice it as well.
Yeah. What's really interesting here is the lift. Like, she's trapped in the lift, and like, thing because Bond has shot the water tanks. That edit on YouTube where someone has taken clips of the scene and added in a video kill music.
Oh yeah, that was cool. This is epic. I think this was all shot in Pinewood actually. This part.
Oh right, I didn't know that.
This action climax. I think they built the set of this sinking house.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the house is CGI, like the exterior CGI. But this is all real.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, like, why does Vesper give them does she give them the money because she's worried that, like, you know, they'll does she them the money because she's worried Bond will die? Is that why she does it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, she does it to spare his life.
Although
That's
I don't know
great.
why she did that though, because herself.
I think
I love the
I think
part.
she's fallen in
Sorry,
love
go
with him.
ahead.
She's fallen in love with him, and so she felt bad. But she,
Yeah.
yeah, in the end, she knew
Yeah.
she died.
I love this bit with the nail gun where Bond shoots a guy. That was a fun level in the game, like
Oh,
where
yeah.
Bond. Yeah, where Bond shoots a guy. The nail, like I mean, Bond, it's a bit of DIY.
I want it.
Dicks.
It's gonna be dicks. This is
I don't know.
tragic.
Can you imagine if Bond just, could you imagine Bond shot the guy? Say, yes, he can.
This is a very well done scene.
Yeah, this is really dramatic. Like she locks the lift and she lets herself die. It's like
I think then she regrets that though. She realized maybe it was a good idea to.
yeah. But by the way, like the scene where she does kill herself, like, do you think if Bond managed to open the lift in time to save her, do you think he would have just turned, still loved her? Like, what do you think he would have done? Would have just turned her into MI6, or do you think he would have still loved her?
He would have been angrier. I think he would have definitely had a go at her and done something.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
yeah. We're like he's trying to open the lift, and then she her face, and he's like, oh, she kisses him.
Yeah, but I think the gravity has kind of pulled her in to the end of the
Yeah.
lift. Can't move. Very sad.
Desperate. Bond's desperate. He's trying to open. When she's dying there, I think that's yeah. I kind of agree. Like, I think it was kind of poor because she's like reaching out to my shit. It's like that's the only thing I will say. Like why kill herself if you're gonna really realize it's a bad.
Yeah. Well, she didn't know. She at first she thought, you know what? I think she knew obviously that he was gonna. She probably thought he was going to kill her anyway. Who knows?
Yeah.
I guess she's kind of caught up in a dilemma because she really loves him. But yeah, she had to.
Can you imagine if this was Brosnan? He'd just be sniffing her corpse.
Vesper.
Like he was in corpse. I mean, it is really sad because he knows she's dead, but he's still trying desperately to save. Like he knows she's dead.
That's the tragedy of Craig's Bond.
Yeah.
That's what I like about his series. Like,
yeah,
movies. Like, he's lost a lot of people. A lot of people have died.
I love that reaction. Yeah, I love that reaction there. That close up of him, like where he looks really pissed off
and very sad.
And then he looks sad.
He looks.
This sounds weird, but it's weird. But you know the way Gollum has.
Yeah.
Kind of little.
Lol. Yeah, but no, that was very moving, and yeah.
And then Mr. White,
superb.
and like Mr. White, like I think, he's got the briefcase.
But that
they brought back.
He loses everyone, loads of people. He loses Vesper.
Yeah.
Probably loses Madeline.
I'm so glad though that they brought back Mr. White because he just he escapes in Quantum and then you never see him again. In Spectre, what's really great about that is all those years later, like nearly 10 years later, he doesn't try to kill Mr. White. He doesn't murder him. He just kind of sees him as this sad person. He just kind of sees him as the last.
Yeah, I mean he was dying anyway, so he wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, but what's also interesting about Spectre as well is he's got he finds the Vesper torture tape and he just leaves it there, moved on with his life. It's like Bond. If you compare Casino Royale to Spectre, like Bond's life, like even though Mr. White, there's he moves on.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of Quantum Solace, he makes a point of letting go of Vesper. He leaves the locket in the snow, so he's and he's moved on.
As well, he's like, "Oh, well, job's done. Bitch is dead." Like, he hates her now. He hates her, but he loved her, but now he hates her. Like, he's conflicted.
Exactly, and that's what makes it really interesting. Is that he doesn't know what to think of her now.
Yeah, and like, I know Alan, like I said, has a problem with Bond being like a ruthless killer Quantum, but only distraught by her death, and it's clear by this scene, he calls her a bitch, he's still off by her death, and that's why he's killing everybody. He's just, he's completely and utterly, distraught.
I don't know what hits him more though, when Vesper dies or when M dies. I mean, because M, it's kind of like he loses a mother, but then when Vesper dies, it's like he finally gets the kick of reality, and like, oh my god, he punches a gut.
I think Vesper affects him because that, he loved her. Like M, he respects her, but I don't think he loves her. Like he likes her, but he doesn't love her.
To love her like a mother. Yeah.
No, I think he's affected by both deaths, but he doesn't go at the end of Skyfall. He says, he's like, "With pleasure, sir. With pleasure. With pleasure." He doesn't get emotionally shut off.
Yeah. He already is emotionally shut off.
Yeah, I love this scene. Like where Mr. White gets the phone call and he gets shot in the leg. Like you think White's got away with it, but Bond finds him.
I mean, this is a perfect ending and a perfect Wallace.
Yeah, he gets shot and Bond's on the phone to him. But it's also great because Bond, James Bond. Yeah, it's a perfect. It's like the perfect. It's a perfect line for him to say now because Bond. He is Bond now, so
Bond,
yeah, he's just become. For him to say that line now is great. I mean, just Craig looks such a badass with the suit and the gun there,
The name's
just
Bond.
standing in front of him.
James Bond.
Bond. James.
Da-da-da, da-da-da-da. That was
Wow.
No, 2 hours 20 minutes. That was long.
It was worth it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't think it's perfect. I know you and Alan and a lot of other people really love it. I mean, I only have a couple of they're minor nitpicks. My pacing. I think just the scenes of Vesper go on a bit too long, and I miss Q and Moneypenny. But apart from that, I think watching it again this time with you actually I think it actually made me enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Watching it with you. And like I said, I'm gonna bump it up from 8 out of 10 my review to 9.
9.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Also, the Bond theme here at the end, this arrangement by David Arnold is awesome.
Oh yeah, they've used it for all 4 of his films actually.
Yeah.
Credits.
Oh my god, I just saw a cast member's name, Jack Whittaker.
And when they came up scenes, they were like, "Thank fuck for that." The fucking died on the day.
Yeah.
They're like, and we're back.
About this, yeah. What's great about this theme tune is it's also arrangement of this Bond theme. It goes back to the original Bond theme with Sean Connery, the guitar, the ding 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 ding. Yeah, but I mean, this is just a fantastic. It's really breathed new life into the Bond series. I mean, everybody thought it was dead after Die Another Day, but they brought it back 4 years later, and it was amazing. And I have to really thank Martin Campbell for that. I mean, even though GoldenEye wasn't great, Casino Royale I can definitely say is a great Bond film. It definitely is.
I think at some point we may have to update our reviews for the whole movie.
Yeah.
At least some.
I'm going. Actually, now that I've got the Bond box set, I'm going to re-review them all in January because my opinions of the series have changed quite dramatically.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like you rewatch the movies and opinions change.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those reviews, I've changed my opinions on them. So when I
opinion on Dine of the Day, so I'll keep that review the same.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep Dino. I mean, I might redo the review of Dino the Day, but keep the original video up. Or
I mean, that was an epic rant. So
yeah, that's my most popular review. It's got like over 1,000 views. Like. No, I mean our reviews of the Dino of the Day, they're really popular. I think it's over 1,000 for both of those reviews.
I mean,
you
rest in peace.
Yeah, it's sad that he killed himself. I mean, I don't know why he killed him. Yeah.
Something. I mean, I love this Bond theme. You know my name. But you can't have a song called Casino Royale.
Yeah, that'd be. Could you imagine if I love that trailer someone did on YouTube, but could you imagine Casino Royale? Yeah, no. Could you imagine the Casino Royale? Like someone did it for the trailer, but could you imagine Casino Royale titles with the 1967 theme? You know.
What if they wrote a Casino Royale? It wouldn't work.
Casino Royale.
Casino Royale, I don't feel like. Oh, that was just
what? Yeah, I love the fact that they've done the Ultimate Edition Blu-ray menu. It's great to have the DVD of this, and it just has the opening.
Yeah, it has the crappy black and white menu.
Yeah, this is much better. I wish they would do these menus for Spectre and Scott Quantum, but oh well. They're not doing it for the. I don't think they'll do it for those because they just couldn't be arsed.
I'm watching this now. Hopefully, it gives me a lot of aspiration and and hope 5 will be.
And it may be, and sadly, it could be our last Bond film, judging from what Barbara Broccoli is saying. I just hope the next Bond is as a man, because she said judging, because Louis told me
I think they're definitely open to the idea of it.
I think it would kill the franchise. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
it wouldn't work. Like Louis said as well, what are you gonna have Bond boys?
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Are you gonna have guys in mankinis?
Yeah. Exactly. Do it as a parody series or do it as a parallel series. That'd be fine.
Bond parodies like Austin Powers, the Pink Panther series, Johnny English. I mean, if you want a female Bond, just do a parallel universe thing, or like I said, Atomic Blonde, make more film. Any 3 Atomic Blonde films,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm just worried though because she said judging by the positive reaction from the Doctor, the next Bond could be. I'm sorry, but the character's always been a man. The character will always be a man, and it would be just a slap in the face to Ian Fleming if it ever became a woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean. Funny, you can't make a song about Casino Royale. Couldn't make a song about Quantum of Solace either. Quantum of Solace, he's meeting Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever happens will happen. and 125 is to be the last true Bond movie, then oh well, that's that. We will have 25 movies, and I think that will be satisfactory. But I really don't want it to be. I want the series to continue, and I want it to evolve, but I don't want it to go in that direction. I just don't think it will work.
I mean, I wouldn't like it either, but I'm sorry, I would prefer Black Bond than a woman. I'm sorry, but yeah. I mean, I don't agree.
Then I'm not keen on that.
Agree. Yeah.
I
don't know if like Bond being black either. I'm sorry, but I mean, he's written in the character as a white secret agent. I mean, the whole point of the whole point of the film and the book Live and Let Die is he's a white secret agent in a black man. He's in Harlem, where everybody's black and he's the only white guy. So to make him black would be stupid, and to make him a woman would be stupid as well. So I just that the series continues.
Yeah.
I hope it evolves in the right way. Just deal with issues that are relevant, you know. And I hope
about the stupid article saying like she was asked the question, "Would you like?" She said, "I'd rather be Bond than the Bond girl." Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, that is.
It's become ridiculous now. Even Jason Statham, like he was saying, "Oh, I grew up with the Bond movies. I love those." And then someone said, and then the interviewer said to him, "Oh, do you think the next Bond should be a woman?" And he said, "No, I don't think so. You know, the character is written as a man."
Exactly.
Like,
you know, for the love of God, Babs, Mickey, if you're out there, please think very carefully before you make your decision after Daniel Craig leaves.
I mean, think. I would say this. I'd say this to Barbara Broccoli. Think what your father would think if they cast a female.
I think what Ian Fleming would think as well.
Yeah. Think of what your father would think, and Ian Fleming. They'd be outraged by a female Bond. Like Cubby Broccoli at no point ever wanted a female Bond. You know, all he wanted was a man to play Bond because it's called James Bond. End of story.
James Bond.
I mean, it's political correctness if you put a woman in, and they've already ruined Doctor Who. Just please don't ruin Bond, please.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a conversation for another day. We will.
Yeah, I mean, what I have to say is, what next? Mad Madeline instead of Mad Max, Mad Madeline.
Like they do.
Yeah.
Oh God. So that pretty much concludes the commentary and just summary. I really, really love this movie. It's my second favorite Bond movie. It really brought the series back to life after the atrocity that was Die Another Day. So I love it. And Daniel Craig is my favorite Bond. And, you know, what a way to be introduced. I think they could have done it any better, personally. I really don't. And, you know, I, for one, really, really appreciate everything that went into making this movie. Despite that, you know, it's a little bit did have humor, a bit dark. It's a lot darker. It is quite long. It's bloody brilliant, and it was the right direction to go.
I agree. Like, I think as a reboot, I think it's one of the best. I would say it's probably the best reboot to any film franchise I've seen. It's just amazing. Rise of the Planet of the Apes are the two best reboots I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was a real surprise.
Yeah, no, I was surprised by it. I thought, oh, you've got James Franco. It's not going to be great, but I mean, it was the reboot of the reboot.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching and listening. Stay commentaries and reflections, and until then,